thePLAINESTjane. This is one of my favorite comments here. She says, I loves me some black, and she said loves me some black news. She says, is it just me, or does anyone else get tired of seeing people that don't look like them delivering info about them day in and day out? I'm your girl, thePLAINESTjane, and let's see what's happening in these virtual streets. You ready? All right now. This could be a crazy ride. I'm warning you now.
What up and welcome back. I'm Jane, thePLAINESTjane, and I serve syrup in the form of black news and celebrity updates. It's been a while, okay? All right. Listen, y'all. Come on in, have a seat on the bus. Happy Wednesday to you. It's almost Thursday over here in Baltimore. But look, we have so much that we need to get into. I've been so busy lately with rearranging my entire home, okay? Cleaning things up, throwing things out, separating from some things, right? Because you know how you just feel like you want to keep everything. I've been extremely busy. And then there's been other things in my life going on, you know, between real life and YouTube. You know, I go through this back and forth where sometimes I'm prioritizing YouTube over my real life, and I can feel it spill over, and it makes my real life a bit more difficult. So balancing, sometimes when you see me gone for 5 days, 6 days, and you might see other people that you watch, they're live every day. I always give my props to them, because between working my 9 to 5 and doing YouTube and taking care of my family and everything, it can become a lot. And y'all know I prioritize mental health over everything. I'll even tell you, click off of my video if you haven't handled your invisible problems, your physical problems, your mental health is a bit more damaged than usual, or you think the subject matter might negatively affect you. So you won't catch a whole bunch of content creators saying, click off this video, don't. But I will, because I know how important mental health is. But nonetheless, it's so happy to be with all of you all this evening. Look, y'all know things are always sticky in Hollywood and in real life. And baby, when I tell you we got some stuff to discuss this evening, I'm excited to get it off my chest. Now, I'm going to try to do this in record time, okay? But we do have a lot to talk about, all right? So this evening, we're talking about leaked birth certificates, why Chris Brown defenders, not necessarily his fans, I would say, because I get some people may be able to separate the man from the music and still just be like a fan of his art, but not his person, his character, or his decisions. But why Chris Brown defenders are a little delusional and in denial. Yeah, we're going to get about that. I got a box of tissues in case there are any feelings that I hurt and any tears that come out while y'all are on the bus. We got some new news surrounding Wendy Williams, okay? We have some additional info on the continually muddled court cases of both Jonathan Majors and Tory Lanez. Yeah, it's pretty sticky. It's real sticky. And we need to talk about the progression of how they're being, I guess you could say held accountable if you feel like they're guilty. But they're basically being indicted, and it doesn't have to be federal. But let's get into that, because there are some updates, and the waters continue to be murky, honestly, surrounding both of their cases. We got to talk about nasty Nick Cannon and his nasty. I don't understand why. Who's asking Nick Cannon these questions? That's what I want to know. Who is asking Nick Cannon these questions? That's got him out here sharing all of this unprovoked, miscellaneous, random nonsense. It's gross. It's gross. All right. 13 kids. Okay. We also need to talk about the riffraff between Bishop Lamor Whitehead and Tasha K, right? And then why their acquaintanceship ended. They had this huge fallout. I'm going to break that down. I am subscribed to TashaKLive.com. And so I got some info, right? I'm not going to give you everything she said, because I do think that it's worth it to sign up for TashaKLive.com. But I am going to give you some information, and we're also going to dive into the connection between Foxy Brown and Bishop Lamor Whitehead. It's pretty interesting. And I think a lot of us skipped over a key component, a key fact when it comes to Bishop Lamor Whitehead when he first came into our realm of knowledge, right? Which was the robbery that most of us think was staged for insurance money. There's something we missed. That connection between Foxy Brown and Bishop Lamor Whitehead, I still haven't fully wrapped my head around it, but I'm going to give you what we got. And there's so much more that we need to get into as well. So I'm really excited to be back talking to y'all this evening. I had a long day at work. Today went by really slow at work for me. Yesterday went by real fast, though. So I don't know what that's about. But look, spring is here. At least over here in Baltimore, let me know what the weather's like over where you are, if you can put your jacket away yet or not. But over here in Baltimore, it feels like this week I might actually be able to finally put my jacket away and just live my best spring life. Maybe sweaters, cardigans, or something 3/4 or long sleeved. But the weather been so back and forth. The week before last, it felt like we could put our coats away. And then last week, it was chilly as heck, and you had to bust your coats back out, even if they were thin coats. So put a 1 in the chat if you can put your jacket away, you think. Put a 2 if you ain't sure, because the weather been all over the place. And be sure when you comment your numbers, if you feel like it, just let me know kind of like where you are. Okay. So I'm excited to talk to y'all this evening. We are getting warmed up. We are not going to take long to get to our points this evening, because I understand all of y'all times are valuable. And the last couple of lives that I did, they ran kind of long, child. And I didn't realize how much long lives wear me out, just because I can sit here and for hours on end. But I need to be able to do something sustainable and be more consistent with you all. So I can't sit here for hours like that no more. Like, I just can't do it. And it's not conducive to me and everything I have going on outside of YouTube. Okay. So let me know what's going on. And also comment down below what you had for dinner. Baby, I was trying not to get the itis so that I could still get live. So that I could still go live. So I just ate one taco. But we do have other things to get into outside of the things that I named this evening. I'm really excited to bring you this black news this evening. Cali, 2 Washington, D.C., 2 Jersey, unsure, 1 Georgia, you're sure you can put yours away. Houston is sure they can put theirs away. Shout out to Stacey Nelson TV. Actually, shout out to all of y'all, to be honest. We have a lot of things that we need to talk about this evening. So when I finish this live, me and my video editor gonna have to talk about like what are we gonna split up and put out as separate videos for people who aren't able to sit through the whole video. But I do think that this is a great video, whether you're at work right now to get you through your shift, or if you're watching this because you're chasing a bus, aka catching a replay. It'll be something that's, waste some time and get you through your shift. Okay. Okay, some of y'all had Chipotle. Okay. I'm not a big Chipotle. I'm just not like a Chipotle person. Or Qdoba or whatever. It's just never been me. I don't understand the hype. But I do have plenty of friends and family who enjoy it. But nonetheless, excuse me, now that we're finished, you're getting warmed up and speaking to everybody in the chat. Listen, y'all, make sure y'all hit thumbs up, have a seat on the bus. You are on my bus anytime. And I don't care if you don't want to date me because I'm a bus driver. Hello? Oh, no, baby, that sound is not hitting on what it need to be hitting on. But I don't care if you don't want to date me because I'm a bus driver, because I also, dependent that whole bus driver debacle. Don't get me started on it again. Don't get me started on it again, because I will get started. But nonetheless, y'all are on my bus, and y'all know, pay your fare when you're on my bus. All I require is that you hit the thumbs up button. You don't have to go on your wallet to support the show. Although if you do send the Cash App, Super Chat, join the membership, it is very much appreciated. Okay. So shout out to everybody in the live chat, channel members, moderators, people who get timestamps together and put them in the comments for me. Wink, wink. Shout out to all of you all for being here late this evening. All right. Let me know if the audio was great or messing up or glitching at any point throughout this video as well. Pretty, please. All right. Now, let's go ahead and get ready for takeoff and get into our very first topic of the evening, which honestly is Jamie Foxx. Okay. I'm stressed out. I'm stressed out with the the conflicting media reports surrounding Jamie Foxx. It's stressful, it's concerning, and Jamie Foxx is a very unproblematic person. He really is. He's very unproblematic. So I just don't understand how and why one moment he's doing great. He's quote unquote posting on his page, and people are like, oh yeah, that's Jamie posting on his page. I'm like, y'all be a fool to think that every time a celebrity posts on their page, let alone when they're sick or they're hospitalized, that it's really them. That it's really them. Because what happens is the court of public opinion, they have all these contracts that and obligations. For example, Jamie Foxx hosts a show related to Shazam, right? Music or something like that. And so there's someone filling in for him. And so sometimes it can be difficult, and these celebrities, their teams want to ensure that they can maintain these contracts. And despite how he's actually doing in real life, they're going to combat the overage of reports in the media that say he's unwell, he's sick, he may or may not have suffered a stroke, he may or may not be in a coma. That starts to become unappealing to people who he has existing contracts, and maybe if he gets well and pulls himself out of this, contracts moving forward. So sometimes these PR teams, it's not that their client or the celebrity is getting better. It's just that they're trying to make sure that they're still profitable and not about to lose existing contracts. And so they make it seem like the celebrity's doing fine. They're not sick. Didn't we see that with Wendy Williams? Don't worry. I'll wait. There was so many times Wendy Williams was unwell as crap between rehab and her substance abuse and her actual health. I think she has lymphoma or lymphedema. I can't remember which one it is, but she does have like a chronic illness. And her team will put out these lies to the media just to make sure she can sustain and maintain these contracts. So that's why I wasn't necessarily quote unquote, hella excited when I saw or relieved, should I say, when I saw Jamie Foxx had quote unquote posted to his page. Because I'm like, how do we even know that he did that? His team might be doing this just to keep his contracts. Lymphedema, that's what it is. Lymphedema. Okay. And so it's like, how do we really know that this is really Jamie? We won't know. And honestly, I'm not even the type where I'm like, I need Jamie Foxx to go live so that we can see, because nobody should be rushing to be put on camera when they really need to be worried about rest and recovery. So I'm not the type where I'm like, let's see Jamie Foxx prove it. They don't have to prove anything to us. But I will say, I think myself and other people have noticed that the reports have been so conflicting that we have no clue what's going on. And it's kind of alarming, right? One minute he's doing okay. Let me pull up one right now. And let's look at this together. You may have seen this report earlier today. I saw it earlier today when I was at work this morning. Jamie Foxx family reportedly preparing for the quote unquote worst as he battles an undisclosed medical complication. Okay. And so when we continue and reading this, I hate how they put all these ads on these websites. Lord have mercy. Jamie Foxx family is trying to keep the faith. According to a source, Radar Online, his loved ones are praying that he will fully recover from his mysterious health battle, but they're also preparing for the quote unquote worst. A source close to Jamie Foxx, from what I saw, shared that Jamie's people are saying he's doing okay and improving, while doctors try to get to the bottom of his problems. But he wouldn't be in the hospital this long if he was anything close to okay. And to be completely honest with you, this statement in itself is contradictory. Because how are you saying he's doing okay and he's improving, but he wouldn't be in a hospital this long if he was even close to okay? So is he okay or not? Like, this singular statement itself, you've seen different people put different statements out. His daughter put out one statement. Another celebrity that was supposedly had a close relationship to him put out another statement. It's confusing. And at the end of the day, all we really want is for this man to pull through, to be completely honest with you. That's what we really want. He's not a problematic fella, and he's super talented. I mean, between being able to sing his butt off, we all seen the movie Ray. He's an amazing actor, and he's just very talented. I do feel like he's a triple threat. I do feel like he's a triple threat. He was able to come in and out of the music industry. Unpredictable to knowing like that's so try to roll with me, baby. Hey, hey. Now I'm not a singer, but I'm just saying that song hit. He just came straight up in the music industry and left. It ain't give us nothing else music. I'm like, damn, he's really good at that R&B, and it pulls back into this old school, older sounding quality of music, which I really enjoy, because sometimes a lot of this new music, where are the people really contributing to R&B these days? And please don't name Jaquise. Please don't name he, and everything's a goddamn no. Name where's the quality in the R&B poll? So nonetheless, prayers are with brother Jamie Foxx. Okay. I can't wait till he can finally speak for himself and share whatever he wants to share, or not, right? You know, a lot of times fans and the public, they feel really entitled. They feel really entitled to information about celebrities in their health. And so this is a really unfortunate situation. Okay. It's a really unfortunate situation. So they're asking to keep him lifted in prayer. They're saying he's doing well, but if he was doing anything close to okay, he wouldn't be in there this long. Like, what is this? It's too much. It's too much. Shout out to the Samantha edit for, I think she upgraded her membership. Shout out to you. Okay. Shout out to you. And that's how that's where I land with the Jamie Foxx situation. I'm curious to know where you land and what are your thoughts about Jamie Foxx's state, why these conflicting reports are constantly surfacing in the media, and what you think is really going on, because none of us really know. None of us really know. But I do want to know where you land with this situation. Okay. So that's Jamie Foxx. In other news, okay, in other news, we have this whole Rihanna thing. This news broke literally a few hours ago. Okay. Hey, B Stokes Styling, shout out to you. And Disciple God 2.0, shout out to you too. Now we get into Rihanna. Okay. This thing that has recently happened with Rihanna, it's a little unhinged and concerning for me. Honestly, it's both of those things, because, okay, now we know the name of her baby, right? But is that something that she wanted to share? How do we know the name of Rihanna's baby now? Right? The baby that's already born, not the one that's still, you know, the bun is still in the oven over there. How do we know the name of Rihanna's? And if you haven't taken the time to hit thumbs up on this video, don't make me kick you off my bus, because I will. I can see that there's 250 of us here. We got 130 likes. Baby, hit that damn button before I smack you. All right? Hit that button before I had to put the pause on ya. All right? No, but how do we know Rihanna's baby's name right now? How do we know? We know Rihanna's baby's name because they've leaked her son's birth certificate. Hello? Excuse me? Hello? Like, we leaking birth certificates now? Like, I get we feel like celebrities aren't entitled to privacy, but that's a bit much. That's a bit much. I really hope she sues. Birth certificates are not public record. I see a lot of people trying to excuse it. It's public record. No, it's not. No, it's not. Not a birth certificate. And especially when you're placed in the type of danger because of how many people think about how many people know Rihanna around the world, and all these celebrities, Kim Kardashian and so on and so forth. They got people that literally stalk them and have gotten arrested over 5 times because they jump the gates and go inside their house. Rihanna's one of them. Kim Kardashian's one of them. Regardless of how you feel about them, think about how crazy people are about celebrities and or their children. Are you serious? It's strange. It's strange. Let's get this bigger on the screen here. Rihanna's baby son's name is finally revealed. The pregnant singer picks a Wu-Tang Clan inspired moniker after keeping fans guessing for nearly a year, as she and A$AP Rocky are expecting a second child. So the Daily Mail has exclusively, so it's the Daily Mail who did it, obtained a copy of the little boy's certificate of live birth, revealing his name is RZA. Now look, this middle name, I'm like, baby, it's middle name RZA Athelston Mayers. Would y'all pronounce this Athelston? Is that Athelston? So that's A$AP Rocky's middle name, but Athelston, I'm just Athelston. I think that's how you pronounce that. But you know, nonetheless, this debacle in its entirety, okay, it's a little unhinged. It's a little unhinged that they've put this, you know, out online, and now you got the rest of the blogs, you know, posting it. And so it's just like, I'm really only concerned about the name, and really it's not my business. But the fact that it's plastered over every website now, it's like, damn, that is so terrible. That is so terrible. I really hope that Rihanna can sue in some capacity. Okay. Did y'all agree with my pronunciation? If my enunciation was something off, let me know what y'all think it is. Athelston. That's what it sounds like to me. Somebody said athlete. Ciao. Not athlete. Oh, why was there even a desire? Exactly. It's so strange. And the Daily Mail is a very large, dare I say, it's arguably a global, the platform has global reach. So I'm just not with it. I'm just not with it. Shout out to Stacey Nelson TV for joining the membership. Thank you for becoming a backstage sticky. But yeah, I feel really bad for Rihanna and celebrities in general who have little to no privacy based off of these nosy publications. I just feel like it's wrong. I just feel like it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. Okay. So that is that. Let me see. Okay, there we go. I had to change my output. I'm still dealing with my new setup, y'all. Be patient with me. I know sometimes the sound might not be exactly what I want it to be, so therefore it might not be of the highest quality, but I still think I put on an amazing production on this platform. Okay, I still think I give y'all a good show. So that's Rihanna's situation. Okay, I feel like it's trifling. I feel like it's unhinged, and I really hope she sues the Daily Mail for doxing her child. For doxing her child. It's not okay. It's not okay. Right. Now let's go ahead and keep on. And that's on today's episode of What the Hell is Wrong with Y'all. Okay. I got a couple of things that's what the hell is wrong with y'all today. Let's get into Jonathan Majors. This Jonathan Majors thing. I keep telling y'all, I told y'all from the beginning, especially, I think it was right before, and I think I reserved my public opinion about it. I think I only discussed it in the Discord because it's just a prediction, right? None of us have all the facts. None of us were there. But, you know, the way people move and navigate and what they selectively put out to the public when they're in hot water, they're not putting out everything. They're cherry picking what pieces they think can make the other side look bad. That implies guiltiness to me. They claim they have a boatload of footage, and the actual footage of what happened in the taxi cab or the ride share that evening, they're not putting that out, but they're putting out all these pictures of the woman or the alleged accuser in the club, and oh, look at her in the club using her right arm. She said, I heard her right arm. And y'all showing us footage and pictures of everything else but the actual incident. And the text message didn't help his case either. Okay, those text messages really incriminated him more than anything. But we do need to get into this Jonathan Majors update. Okay. He had court yesterday, and now his attorneys are claiming that the incident of the 33-year-old actor is racially charged. They actually say it's a racially charged witch hunt against him. So they're claiming racial bias because he's Black. Let's get into these details because I do have them all for you here, despite the fact that his attorneys have moved towards sealing this case. So we can't get everything. But again, they pick and choose what they want to give us. So we have that along with a few of the things from his court hearing from yesterday that reporters were able to attend. So we can't see the documentation and see everything that's going on behind the scenes and the motions and the paperwork that are being shuffled back and forth. But we do have what the reporters, because the room was full of reporters yesterday. We do have what they were able to witness verbally or whatever, right? What they were able to take in. So they're accusing Jonathan Majors' attorneys. They are accusing police and prosecutors of racial bias against Jonathan because he's a Black man. His attorney said a white police officer got in Jonathan's face and taunted him when he tried showing the officer injuries that he said his alleged accuser caused him. My whole thing is, if you're this innocent, and honestly, him taking all these L's in the court of public opinion, why didn't you take a picture of your own bruises and put them on social media? You're showing us everything else. You're showing us footage of some things, but not other things. You clearly want the public to understand that you're quote unquote innocent. And so people's rebuttal to my, how come they didn't show us this? How come they didn't show us that? It's supposed to play out in court. They don't have to give the public nothing. It's going to play out in court. But truth be told, if that's the case, they wouldn't have given the public anything. But they've given us text messages and photos of her in the club, allegedly hours later, telling us about what happened with the police officers. So they're giving the public what they feel like is going to help him win over the court of public opinion. And it's not adding up. 1 + 1 is not 2. The math is not mathing. If they really wanted to keep it all in court and out of public opinion, they wouldn't be trying to plead with and picking which pieces of 5 evidence they want to give to the public. That doesn't make sense. And I truly feel like his defense hates him because they're just not doing what needs to be done. He doesn't need to cry about racism now. He should have known not to put his hands on America's most protected, a white woman, okay? A parchment paper woman. Guess he gonna cry in the car, okay? Say that again. Say that again. So yesterday, which was Tuesday, May 9th, 2023, Jonathan Majors attended court via Zoom to face a judge based on an alleged incident in March with his now ex-girlfriend, in which she states that Jonathan twisted her arm, struck her in the head, shoved her in a vehicle. And according to police, she was treated and at the hospital. So she was treated at the hospital for minor injuries to her head and her neck. And the outcome of that hearing has been revised to a domestic violence charge. So according to the revised assault charge, Jonathan's accuser alleges that he pulled her finger, twisted her right arm behind her back, struck her and cut her right ear, and pushed her into a vehicle, causing her to fall backwards. So it does sound like some things are changing here, right? I don't. Stories are changing. It's impossible to know though without honestly looking at the documentation, really changing on paper, or even if we had transcripts, okay? Because this information that I'm giving you is literally a blend between what is being said by reporters who were in the courtroom that day, yesterday, and it's a combination of 3 things. It's a blend of information that was given from the reporters who were in the courtroom that day, Jonathan Majors' legal counsel, and the prosecution. You know, and most of the time we say there are 3 sides to every story: his side, her side, and the truth. And in this case, it's 4 sides to every story because it's either the reporter's side, Jonathan's legal counsel, the prosecution, and then the truth. Are they ever going to play that what they say is incriminating footage from the taxi cab? Are they ever going to play that in court? And will we ever be able to see definitively that he never laid a finger on her? Will we ever even get a transcript for what happened? Because when they play footage in court, you can still get a transcript of a play-by-play of what did not happen, whether it's audio or visual evidence being presented in the courtroom. So it's interesting. Now, in addition to the outcome of the hearing being a revised domestic violence charge, Jonathan Majors must also continue to abide by an order of protection, barring him from speaking to his alleged victim. Now, this was a virtual appearance. Again, this was a Zoom meeting for Jonathan. He didn't have to show up in person. And, virtual appearances, they are an occasional accommodation in the court, but the judge did warn Jonathan Majors. The judge warned him that he must show up in person at a follow-up hearing on June 13th or face a possible warrant for his arrest. So this judge is not playing with him for whatever reason. For whatever reason, this judge is not playing with him. Okay. And look, I feel like the brother is cooked based on it. He's coming off very guilty in him and his legal team's responses and the selective releasing of evidence alone. But again, Stickies, I still want to hear from you, whether you agree or disagree with, my prediction and how I see it based on how I've been following it. I'm curious to know what you think. Make sure you leave a comment down below in the chat, or if you're chasing the bus watching the replay, make sure you leave a comment. I'm curious to know. Now, at the hearing, on Judge 13th, the judge is going to decide on a motion challenging the case that Jonathan's lawyers have filed under seal. Again, this means the public doesn't have access to it. They're keeping it out of our reach. And if it was as cut and dry as him being, innocent, I don't understand what would be wrong with letting the public see it. You letting us see a couple of other things, But because his case is under seal, there's a lot that we do not know. But what we do know is that he's facing a few misdemeanor charges as a result of this situation. And one of them we know for sure is a misdemeanor assault charge. And for the misdemeanor assault charge, he has not entered a plea for that as of yet. Okay. It was initially, right, his initial charges were assault and harassment. But because it's been revised and sealed, all we know is there's at least more than one misdemeanor charge there. It's a revised charge, but we know for sure one of them is misdemeanor assault. Now, the hearing literally was really quick. It lasted all of 3 minutes. But when it was all said and done, the prosecutors say that the charge was rewritten, right? Prosecutors say that the charge was rewritten to reflect the perspective of the accuser rather than the police officer whose account was used in the original version. So they're saying they revised it, right? They're saying they based the initial charges off of what the police, the first responding officers said. Now they're saying it's being revised to match the accuser's testimony. I find that to be a little strange. And here's the reason why. I still feel like he's guilty. I still feel like the victim is potentially in the midst of battered woman syndrome based off of the text messages and her responses. And we went over this in a prior video. Matter of fact, here is the thumbnail to that, right? So we've spoken about this before. But let me tell you why I think that this is strange that they're saying we're not using what the responding officer said. We're using what the accuser is claiming now. I think that that's weird. And I'm going to pull up this article in this initial report because I'm reading this last night. And I'm like, I saw something about Jonathan Majors and them saying that, oh, look at this picture they used of him here. Ooh, let's make this big on the screen, child. Ooh, okay. Okay, photo. Jeez Louise. The media be knowing what they doing when they use a picture of somebody, child. Now let's scroll down to where we see, okay. Let's start here. They say Jonathan Majors got home at 11:13 and found her unconscious and half naked on the floor of his walk-in closet. He also discovered that she allegedly threw up in his bed and told him that she'd taken a few sleeping tablets. Jonathan then called 911 and claimed when paramedics arrived, the woman repeatedly told them, "I don't know," when she was asked what happened to her. In the document, Jonathan Majors' attorney claims that body cam footage shows police interviewing the woman and clearly coaching her to say that Mr. Majors grabbed her by the throat. So Jonathan Majors' attorney claims that the alleged victim never made that claim to anyone prior to the police's direction. So they're saying she was coerced by law enforcement to say all she said in the initial report. It would be interesting to hear that 911 call from Jonathan. It would also be interesting to see the body cam footage. I know it looks like the body cam footage is present right here, but it's not. It's just a still photo. When you click, it's just a still photo. But if what Jonathan's attorneys, what his legal counsel was saying was true, she was coerced by the police, then how would her testimony now in court change to something different than what the responding officer said? It's a really muddled and extremely sticky case. Really muddled and a very sticky case. Someone said he definitely needs new lawyers. They suck bad. I agree. I feel like they low-key hate. I feel like they just want his money. Just like Tory Lanez attorneys. They can't do nothing for him. The brother's cooked. But them attorneys going to meet him and sell him the moon and the stars and tell him they're going and just collect a big check, because whether he wins or loses the case, the attorneys still need to get paid, and they're going to get paid. So, it just seems like an unfortunate situation that no one's keeping it real around them and saying, listen, it's inevitable. It's not looking good. But I mean, I guess an attorney's job is to try to the very end and see what sticks. Whatever, child. This is what's going on here. And I find a lot of things about this Jonathan Majors case. I find it to be beyond strange, but I do still feel like he did something wrong. We might not have the full picture, but it's definitely not given innocent the way his attorneys are releasing and withholding certain pieces of information. So, of course, Jonathan's attorney says that he's innocent. That's their job, right? It's their job not to say my client is innocent. So that means nothing. The strong, media talking points don't do anything for me. And Jonathan Majors' attorneys, they blasted prosecutors after yesterday's hearing for pursuing what she called to be a quote unquote witch hunt. So his attorneys also claimed that they provided the Manhattan District's Attorney's Office with, quote, irrefutable evidence that the woman is lying, including video proof showing that nothing happened, especially not where she claimed, end quote. And they also added on that the accuser actually is the one who assaulted Jonathan and not the other way around. So it's the you hit me, I hit you, they hit me, I hit. He said, she said at this point, right? Because without the footages, I love putting the S on footages, child. Without the footages, don't nobody know. His attorney, legal counsel, goes on to say, quote, instead of dismissing the allegations in the face of the woman's clear lies, the DA has adjusted the charges to match the woman's new lies, end quote. So, again, strong talking points. That's what attorneys are supposed to do. You're not supposed to have an attorney that's a weak talker, right? That's gonna let doubt seep into people's mind like you did something and the opposing party is innocent. But we'll see what happens at the follow-up hearing on June 13th, or if he's going to face a possible warrant for his arrest if he doesn't show up. The judge wants him to show up in person on June 13th, not do a virtual Zoom meeting type of appearance like he did on yesterday. So we'll see how that goes. June 13th is just a month away, but child, he's got to show up and he's got to be accountable. It's gonna be interesting. What do y'all think is gonna happen? Put a 3 in the chat if y'all think he's gonna be found guilty, and put a 4 in the chat if you don't think he's gonna be found guilty. Child, put a 34 in the chat if you don't know. You like, I can't tell. A 3 in the chat if you think Jonathan Majors is going to be found guilty. A 4 in the chat if you think he's going to be found not guilty. And a 34 in the chat, a 3 and a 4, if you just don't got that going on. And I feel like even if he's found not guilty, I feel like his I feel like his career is ultimately still going to have a negative stain and effect on it. You know what I mean? I feel like the court of public opinion has already kind of prosecuted him. And I know that might sound unfair, but you know, at some point we got to use our common sense. At some point you got to use your common sense and intuition and listen. It's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law, but the court of public opinion don't operate that way. And sometimes you can hear a guilty person. Y'all ever watch Jerry Springer or Maury or any of these shows, and you can hear that the person is up there lying about what has happened? You can see it written all over their face, their responses, their body language, their tense, what they're saying, what they're not saying. So, you know, it's not a fair process, but ain't nothing gonna change it. Ain't nothing gonna change the court of public opinion and how it operates. Not a thing. So, but real quick, look, I hope y'all feeling all right. You know, your mental health and invisible problems are important. Mental health is wealth. Shout out to the new subscribers. I do want to say thank y'all. Okay. And of course, before I get into breaking down more of today's topics and viral events, make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already. It's free. Hit thumbs up or down. Honestly, either way, I do appreciate it. I know I do have a couple of people that literally hate watch my channel. But either way, I do appreciate the engagement, the watch time, all that you do for me, whether you like it or you don't like it, okay? And of course, don't forget to think critically and independently, regardless of what you hear from me or anybody else. So, listen, y'all are on the Black News Bus. If you didn't already know, I wanted to jump into some stories right away before I gave my spiel, my intro, whatever. But for all the new people who are not used to my channel, and I do have a slew of new subscribers, listen, y'all are on the Black News Bus. And the Black News Bus is a social media stroll that covers Black topics inside of the celebrity world, but it also covers real Black news involving everyday Black people like you and me, okay? And, you know, I always got some nuggets of Black excellence and Black history when y'all are riding my bus. So let's continue getting into these stories and talking about what's going on today. Today was a really interesting day in the media. There has been a lot going on. And so we do have a lot of topics. So we just going to keep it pushing. Up next is Chris Brown. Keep it locked. Throw some pancakes in the chat. And of course, hit thumbs up before I kick you off my bus. Okay? Sheesh. That was not the clip that I thought it was at oh my God.
thePLAINESTjane. This is one of my favorite comments here. She says, I loves me some Black, and she said, loves me some Black news. She says, is it just me, or does anyone else get tired of seeing people that don't look like them delivering info about them day in and day out?
All right, now we are back. Now, on today, and shout out to Ali C for joining the membership. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, on today's episode of What the Hell is Wrong with Y'all? I've got to show y'all something. And I got a key out of this, baby. A Karen meeting their match on an airplane and met somebody that kind of exuded Black troll Karen vibes. This is when Karen meets K-On, okay? K-Ron, should I say. Karen meets K-Ron, all right? Let's take a look at this clip online, okay? On the wild, wild west of Luther Vandross and Beyonce's internet, okay?
Lady right here, she want to take her phone out and she want to record me. Where she's at?
She's right there.
Evidently.
Don't touch me. You're assaulting me now. You're assaulting me. You're touching me. You're assaulting me.
Thank you. No, you need to go to hell. Thank you. Oh, okay. I'll make sure I save a spot for you. I understand that we're all are waiting, but well, that's not how I work. I make the rules as I go. Well, I make the rules as I go. I don't know about you, but I do.
Well, I break them.
Guess what? And I'm breaking them right now, too. Excuse me.
Oh my God.
Hey, boss.
Sir. Hey, we got a hostile one back here.
Yes, we do.
Hostile.
He is too. He's knocking people over.
Don't be rude to me, because one thing I can do is be rude back to you. Is what I can be. Oh,
Let's just take it down.
I am, but I'm just saying, she's talking I'm hostile. But I can be rude as well. I didn't push no damn body. You want to stand in the way like you're a bodyguard, I moved you out my way is what I did. Huh?
You're not worth it.
It's not worth it.
You're not.
I'm an African American, darling. I'm always worth it.
You're rude, abrupt.
I'm a rude, I'm ignorant, I'm urban, I'm everything that you don't want me to be. And guess what? Fuck you and your camera, darling. Yes, it is everywhere I go. You get me a good drink, I'll show you who the fuck I am. She want to record, I'll give her a show.
Rolex on your wrist, a plain Jane.
Yes, I am. I'm everything you don't want me to be. We got a hostile one back here. I make the rules up as I go. I don't know about you. He said, go to hell. She said, go to hell. He said, I'll save you a seat. Oh, he was such a mood, okay? Karens be thinking they're the only ones who can be Karens, okay? Sometimes you got to give Karen some of her own energy back, all right? These parchment paper ladies, I just can't, okay? These Ku Klux Karens, baby. It's a couple of people in our community that are a match for you. Karen meets K-Ron, all right? I don't know his name, but I'm going to just call him K-Ron, all right? Because he sure did tell them. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. That gave me the most wholesome laugh earlier today. Now he need a show. He's the next New York. He's the next Tiffany Pollard. All right. Then he said, give me a drink and I'll show you who I are. I thought we were witnessing who you are. You are a Kiki, but you need a drink to make it better. Give him 2 drinks on me, child, because, baby, he was giving it to him. Oh, my goodness. That was a nice, necessary laugh, child. Ah, that was good. Nonetheless, let's keep it pushing. Look, if you're looking for ways to support the show, you can simply hit thumbs up, subscribe, or you can send a cash app. I always point wrong. It's right here on the screen. Make sure you proofread if you do plan on sending a monetary donation. $THA #PLAINESTjane. All appreciated, but you can really just leave it at the thumbs up and subscribing, or you can send a super chat. Okay. Any form of support with the show, I do greatly appreciate it. All right, y'all. Y'all know things are always sticky in Hollywood and in real life. And this next story is definitely, it's been sticky for well over a decade. I mean, will all the people that defend Chris Brown please stand up? I just want to know who we working with. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? You defending Chris? Stand up. Rise to your seat. I'm calling you to the front of the congregation because I just got some questions and I got a list of things to read off to really say it took y'all this long to really see or understand how problematic this troubled young man is. Now we've all heard about the Usher and the Usher and Chris Brown alleged debacle, quarrel, whether it was physical, just verbal, both of them, whatever the case is. We've all heard of it by now. Long story short, Cinco de Mayo, Chris Brown's celebrating his birthday. Usher throws him a party. Usher shows up. Tiana Taylor's invited. Tiana Taylor and Chris Brown have been longtime friends. And apparently Chris Brown kind of like wanted Tiana Taylor to leave. He gets into a verbal dispute with her, is calling her out of her name, cussing her out, calling her all types of B words. Usher shows up. He's trying to diffuse it a little bit. And then Chris Brown kind of turns his anger towards Usher. And then according to all these reports, and we'll get into if it's true or not a little bit later. According to the reports, apparently Chris Brown's crew catches Usher behind some trailers and jumps him and bloodies his nose. You know, can we put it past him? Is it Are people still in denial that Chris Brown has a true, deep-rooted anger problem? Why does it take for him to come at a male and after a series of well-documented bad behaviors in order to get some of y'all to understand that Chris Brown is problematic as fuck? He's nasty and he has a very problematic and troubled spirit. He does. From his colorist tendencies, his anti-Black lyrics, his alleged altercation with Frank Ocean over a parking spot years ago. In October 2013, Chris Brown was incarcerated after he hit a man outside of a hotel in Washington, D.C. Upon release from jail, okay, because he's arrested for punching a man outside of a hotel in Washington, D.C. Upon release, he went to LA and checked into a rehab facility, rehab for anger management issues. After less than 2 weeks in that facility, Chris Brown was having a family counseling session there in the facility. When he became angered that his mom thought he needed more time inside of the facility, Chris Brown then threw a temper tantrum. He went outside and he threw a rock through his mother's car window. Hello? He was then quickly expelled from the facility for violence. Chris Brown has also made light of and poked fun at a woman who was having mental health issues and wanted to self-delete herself. She didn't want to live anymore. She's going through these types of S-word ideations, and he's poking fun at her. The person that I'm talking about is Kalani at the time. She was dating a basketball player. PETA, yes, the people that are crazy about the animals and they show up to people's stuff and throw paint and riot and ruin their book signings and whatnot. PETA had to go through the government to revoke his illegal exotic pet monkey that was purchased on the black market. He recently was throwing phones. He's on concert, on tour. He was upset that somebody that he was giving a lap dance on stage to, he took her phone and threw it into the audience. Luckily, someone brought it back to her, but it was cracked, shattered, whatever. That's a bit much. Karrueche was granted a 5-year restraining order in 2017 against Chris Brown because Chris Brown had gotten physical with her several times in their relationship, and he was harassing and stalking her. Chris Brown also threatened to take her life and harm her friends as well. All of these being reasons as to why she was granted this 5-year restraining order in 2017 against Chris Brown. A year after Karrueche is granted her 5-year restraining order, another woman was granted a stay-away order from Chris Brown. None of us can forget Rihanna as well. What number am I on now? Because I'm out of fingers and toes as to this problematic track record that just seems to never end. He has clear impulse and anger management issues. And even if this so-called alleged scuffle didn't happen, there was a verbal altercation at the root of the reporting in general between Chris Brown, Teyana Taylor, and Usher. The media might have blown it up and turned it into something physical when it wasn't. There might have just been a couple of soft pushes and shoves, and they might have exaggerated. But there was definitely some sort of a verbal altercation between the three of these people. Not to mention, him and Teyana Taylor are longtime friends, and he was talking to her like she was a dog. Now, would he have done that if Iman Shumpert was there? I think a lot of us know the answer to that question. But ultimately, is it really difficult to believe that he got a little out of pocket and got hostile towards any male or female? And why does it take a male for him to actually go up against, for people to actually finally wake up and say, you know what, maybe we should cancel him? Are y'all okay? Y'all that are y'all still defending Chris Brown? Like, when did you stop defending Chris Brown? If you did at one point, what was the straw that broke the camel's back if you used to defend him? Because the track list, his track record and his history, it's not given. Defend this man. It's not given. He's a good man, Savannah. It ain't given that. It's given. You knew who he was, Savannah. That's what it's given. To be completely honest with you, you was a fool, Savannah, letting him think that he could get away with this and never be held accountable. And word on the street is that he's like a little jealous of Usher because Usher is still very much marketable because he's not problematic. The most that we've heard about Usher is that he might have some STD. But as far as him going out here battering and brutalizing people, that's not anything that we hear. It's not. And so they have similar teams, but Usher will get booked for the opportunities that Chris Brown wants, but Chris Brown is not marketable. So he's kind of like jealous or envious in a way. And they're not comparable in a versus battle. It might be a cute thought, right? I'm not saying Chris Brown never made good music. They're not. The only person Usher could have went up against in a versus battle is R. Kelly. But of course, that's off the table now. Not only are they not of the same genres, but Usher has stamina. He's a really good performer. Chris Brown be singing out of breath and doing cartwheels and backflips. And I will never forget, somebody said it on Twitter a while ago, when Chris Brown danced, it looked like a 5-year-old dancer. You know when your 5-year-old and learned a new little move, and they come out, Mom, look what I can do, and they do some little, and you gotta say, oh, that's nice, baby. And really, it's basic as hell. It's a tumble. He go up there and do cartwheels and act like he Michael Jackson or something. It don't give the same. Look at a Chris Brown performance alongside Usher's performance in his residency and his Lovers and Friends tour. And I guarantee you're going to see the differences. They're not in the same category. Not only are they not in the same category or the realm of talent, but they're also not in the same era. So I don't know who's Usher ultimately going to go up against in a versus if he decides to do one day. But I guarantee you, Chris Brown ain't it. And the fact that, okay, they still performed at the Lovers and Friends thing, the nerve of you, the audacity of you to have this animosity towards a man that literally paid a great amount of money to throw you this birthday party. But then, okay, they were on stage the next day. Usher showed his face, kind of like, I don't know where these reports about my face getting messed up came from, but here I am and I'm still looking good. So they still performed on stage, but Usher got done his performance and he put a statement and he thanked and tagged a lot of people for performing and helping to put it together. Chris Brown wasn't one of those people. Something happened backstage. Something happened backstage, even if it was just verbal or a shove or a push. You know, the debate just won't go away. There's this eternal undercurrent of a debate of they should do, and it's really just Chris Brown fans, but whatever. Those are my final thoughts. How is this affecting Chris Brown's long-term career and success? He continues to shoot himself in the foot. I think he gets a little arrogant and full of himself sometimes. And I feel like everybody has had a stint of arrogantness or smelt themselves before. But Chris Brown, with his past being what it is, I don't think that it's smart. However, when you find somebody who's gotten away with the same thing well over 7-8 times, yeah, they're going to make a pattern because they feel like they're never going to be truly held accountable. Case in point, Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez hasn't gotten away with it as much as Usher, but also Chris Brown ain't never shot nobody that we know of. All we know about is alleged, booger sugar and all of the things I read off. And to be completely honest, that large list I just ran off, that I ran out of fingers and toes for, that's not even everything. That's not even everything. So, look, those are my final thoughts. And I want to know, I pass the question off to you. What are your thoughts about this, Stickies, and where do you land with this? Now, we need to get to the star of this evening show. I do believe that the star of this evening show is Bishop Lamor Whitehead. What is the connection between Bishop Lamor Whitehead and Foxy Brown? What is it? What is that connection? Well, I'll tell you. And again, I still haven't wrapped my mind around it. I'm completely blown away at this, but I can see how it kind of makes sense. So let's really talk about how they know each other, why they know each other, and what they be doing to keep a living for themselves. And also how and why Bishop Lamor Whitehead felt out with Tasha K. Okay. This is something that we need to get into. All right. So listen, y'all make sure to we ain't been to the bush the week yet, chat. I'm trying to keep the show going. We still got several other topics that we need to get to. So listen, hit thumbs up, support the stream. We'll be right back in 60 seconds to continue the show. All right. Drop some pancakes in the chat while you're at it.
Get into this Black-owned business, Stickies. It's got things for inside your home, outside your home, and even on the go. JasmineMadeIt.com is your new destination for Black Girl Magic mugs, tumblers, and even wine glasses. You can even customize the tumblers and wine glasses. There's a lot going on for a low price over at JasmineMadeIt.com. And if you've been serious about wanting to support more Black-owned businesses, here's your chance. Let JasmineMadeIt.com handle all your problems for family and friends. You ever had a friend over and they just wasn't catching the hint or paying the rent?
Our asses all get to stepping.
Yeah, tell them to get to stepping with this nostalgic Martin-themed doormat and shop over a dozen different doormat designs over on JasmineMadeIt.com. All right, Stickies, you know what time it is. It's time to put your money where your mouth is and shop Black today. Make life easier for you and your household by taking your family's hot or cold beverages on the go with one of these unique tumblers. It's insulated to keep your beverage at temperature, and it comes with a few different reusable straws and even the specific brush that you need to wash it so you can keep it sanitized and germ-free. They've got all kinds of designs to match your mood or style. So grab something for your wife, the hubby, or even the kids over on JasmineMadeIt.com. That's JasmineMadeIt.com, and I'll see you over there.
All right, we are back. Let's go ahead and keep this bus on the roll, okay? What's the relation between, and I'll tell you what's going on behind the relation between them, but the initial relation is that according to, okay, the New York Post, Bishop Lamor Whitehead and Foxy Brown are cousins. Like, what? And I'm gonna pull up the article, and I think a lot of us missed this initially because there was so many other, I think like in, what year was this? 2016. There was so much other inflammatory detail surrounding Bishop Lamor Whitehead when he first was thrusted into the public opinion, at least for the most of us, which started with the church robbery. Now, I do see that this article is from 2016. So it seems like there's a group of people in New York, well, I mean, he's Brooklyn based, that have had their eye on him for a while. And I think what makes him more, his arrogantness and the fact that he wants to be so flashy is him always connecting himself to Mayor Eric Adams, in the media, right? In public. I think he feels like he gives him clout or brownie points or something of that nature. That's what it seems like to me. But so we see that this is this article from 2016. Do y'all see this? October 17th. So this is how long he's been on the media's radar at the very least. So let me skip to searching for a word. I'm gonna search. Okay, so I searched for the word Foxy. Let me just search for Brown instead. Take me down there, child. Okay, so we get here, right, to this part of the article. Pay attention, all right? Because, you know, Bishop Lamor Whitehead, all this stuff that he's involved in between stealing churches and everything else, and the indictment, and swindling people out of $90,000 plus. It's a lot, okay? Now, let's just focus on these couple of sentences here. Now, Bishop Lamor Whitehead was ordained a bishop in January of 2016, and he maintains that both lawsuits were quote unquote handled in court and have been dealt with. Since late 2013, Whitehead has been buoyed by public support from Mayor Eric Adams, who introduced him at a concert And he introduced him as my good friend and good brother. Now, Mayor Eric Adams also gave an honorary citation to Whitehead's mother last year at Borough Hall and gave a key to Brooklyn Whitehead's cousin, the rapper Foxy Brown, in February. Like, I had to read that a couple of times to make sure I wasn't, misinterpreting this sentence here. He gave an honorary citation. Okay, Mayor Eric Adams gave Bishop Lamor Whitehead's mother some sort of citation. What is it about? Don't know. Don't really care at the moment. That's not the highlight of the story. But gave a key to Brooklyn to Lamor's cousin, who is the rapper Foxy Brown, in February. And this article was written in 2016. So that's how long that outlet knew about it. Interesting. Here's where it gets a little deeper, though. And again, this is according to the New York Post. The article's right here, right? You saw the article, the title of the article when I had scrolled up. So how was he able to swindle quite a few people out of their funds or their churches? And y'all know I've done several videos on this. Here's one thumbnail from one video I did. I even brought on a legal expert and an actual practicing attorney, Pam Esquire, onto my channel. And I had my summary that I ran down, and she provided all of the clarity in between all of the main bullet points that I had, which was probably like 25 of them. She helped fill in the blanks between the synopsis of what, because there's so much legal paperwork, incriminating paperwork, and criminal stuff that he's done to go over. It's impossible to even get through it in one day. Okay. But he's been stealing churches. Okay. He literally stole a church from, he stole this church named Gloria God from, these people who had been there for 14 years. They had literally revamped it, changed it from an auto garage, and turned it into a church, renovated it. Like, I've seen the before and after pictures, and they really did an amazing job because it looked like that structure was a church from the beginning. But nonetheless, they were having some issues with refinancing the building. So they added, Bishop Lamor Whitehead became a friend of the church, right? Like, I mean, he's predatory as hell, right? So it was very intentional for him. This is all after he's already been indicted in different things of this nature with this fraudulent move to steal this church from these people. And they needed to refinance. So he was like, hey, I can help you refinance. Just add me onto the deed and we can use my credit, blah, 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 blah. Not the smartest move, right, on behalf of the church. But, it happened. And within that process, he ended up evicting them from their own church. And there was just this constant battle. He changed the locks and was using frivolous court processes and motions in order to get these people evicted from their own church that they have been in and turned around over the course of 14 years. And in order to get his way within the court process, he filed bankruptcy. He did all these things. And finally, at some point, the courts was like, okay, enough of this. This is their church. So you need to get out. They're cutting the locks. And when the judge ordered that, he goes down there and he's trying, because honestly, Bishop Lamor Whitehead has a lot of the NYPD in his pocket. He really does. And I mean, I've literally seen it on live stream. The judge just ordered for you to hand the keys over to these people in their church. You have to give them their church back now, according, and all he does is call his favorite New York police officers and have them come down there to say, no, y'all can't have y'all church back. Let Bishop Lamor Whitehead stay here. It's sickening and insane to see. Now, mind you, Bishop Lamor Whitehead has already did a good stint in jail, a good one, not just the week or so he spent in December, right? So he's got a lot of people in his pocket. And when he finally it was the end of the road and he realized he couldn't hold off no more, he had to get out and give them people their church back. He destroyed the church on his way out. I mean, destroyed the church, so that costing the church money so that they would have to pay more in order to hold, their services. Okay. And so Foxy Brown comes into play here. It's so much. It's such a large story. And I've done videos. You can go back and check my older videos, because we've spoken in depth about him. And so how does Foxy Brown come into play? There's over 400 of us in this chat and only 241 thumbs up. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. I'm about to give y'all the Foxy Brown syrup, but y'all gonna have to hit thumbs up on the video. Okay. It's a requirement. It's a requirement. So Foxy Brown, that's whether you're watching live or you're catching the replay. Just support the stream, hit thumbs up, okay? So Foxy Brown, she comes into the picture because, oh, thank you so much, Robin, for the Cash App. I do appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. So Foxy Brown comes into the picture because she was helping him out with his credit card fraud and identity theft. We know he's a swindler. We know he's a predator. The elderly woman that he stole $90,000 from was a person who was of his congregation that was the size of a shoebox. That congregation, I don't know if it got foreclosed, whatever the case was, but it was small and all he had was a little tablecloth, a shower curtain up back there. That church that we caught the live footage from his Facebook live stream where he got quote unquote robbed for between $400,000 and $1 million, right? They were a congregant of that church, and he swindled that woman out of that $90,000, and that was her life savings. And just like with the Glory of God church that he stole, they trusted him to help them with something financially, whether it was credit or whatever the case was. They needed to refinance. They trusted him. He scammed them. This woman here was trying to get a house, but her credit wasn't where she needed it to be. So he said, I'll help you out. Just give me this $90,000. I'll give you $100 a week of your own money. That's the part that really, and we read through those documents too. Give me $90,000 and I'll give you $100 allowance of your own money to survive a week. I don't know anybody, any grown person that can live off $100 a week, but and stole her money, and she ended up suing him, right? So Foxy Brown, being his cousin, according to the New York Post, was helping him with the credit card fraud and identity theft. You know, you got to do a little bit of, identity scamming in order to do successful credit card fraud because you're using other people's names and things of that nature. So Foxy Brown, right? And this is the information that I got from Tasha K. Shout out to tklive.com. I do recommend that y'all go sign up for her website. At TashaKLive.com. And Foxy was the one letting him know who are the licks and when they're hot and when they're ready to be swindled, right? Because scamming is a really it's a really calculated process. You got to know when these people are here, when they're most vulnerable, when they have a certain amount of money, and when's the best time, when are they not looking the most, and all that other stuff. Foxy Brown was allegedly the one helping him with this. Baby, I mean, just make it make sense. Can y'all believe that? Can y'all believe that? This woman has hearing loss issues to the point where she can't even do performances anymore because she has a hard time staying on beat because she has a hearing impairment. She's living with a hearing impairment, and she has to have somebody tapping her to help her keep track of the 4-count beat. She can barely hear, and she out here helping her cousin of a scamming pastor scam. Now, all of this is alleged in accordance to reports, okay? But this is out of line. This is out of line, and he's just way too sick and way too bold. They're going to put him away. And to think that he did what he did with the church while he was already under a federal investigation. He was already under federal investigation. So they've been listening to his phone call. So now I need to tell y'all about how him and Tasha K blew up. But let's go to the bush first.
It was gone.
Let me just go in the bush and weep. Let me just go in the bush and weep. I just have to go in the bush and weep. Really. I don't understand. I swear to God, I don't understand.
So Tasha K says that she stopped dealing with Lamor Whitehead because I do remember that they were cool, right? I was seeing them on Instagram lives. I was seeing them, you know, laughing and joking on the Instagram lives, especially kind of like at the height or the takeoff of the Larry Reid, Bishop Lamor Whitehead war. And then what came out of that was Larry Reid's alleged past and prior court case where it seemed like he might have been a pedo, right? Those allegations against Levontre when he was a minor and allegedly, you know, what Lamar was pushing off was that Larry Reid had had some inappropriate sexual contact with Lamar, who was 15, 16 at the time. I won't get into what they were because it's egregious to even hear, even if it's not true, but the allegations were horrendous. I'm not here to say if Larry Reid was guilty or not because I wasn't there and it's way too muddled for me. However, she says she stopped dealing with him because, first of all, they had a big blowout on the phone. They had a big blowout on the phone because he felt like he made the connection between Tasha K and the information about Levontre, about Larry Reid being a possible predator, you know, or pedo, because there was a court case, although, you know, nothing ever came of that. Like he wasn't found guilty of that, but it did go to court and there's a lot of paperwork and documentation behind it. So he was the connection to help, you know, Tasha put out several stories on Larry Reid and the allegations against Levontre. So he was the connect, and he felt like after he connected Levontre with Tasha, he felt like he had her blog and her influence and her voice in his pocket. And she didn't like that because she's like, look, this is witness intimidation. It was like everybody that Lamor Whitehead had an issue with, he's calling Tasha, I need you to put this out. I need you to put this out. And he didn't always have receipts. The only reason she said she accepted Levantre's story was because Levontre actually had receipts. Lamar didn't. Lamar put the bug in her ear, made the connect between the two, but he didn't have the receipts. So after Tasha put out that story about Levontre, because she had, you know, receipts via the court records and his account, and she did a sit-down interview with Levontre and his mom, he felt like he could just call her up and, hey, I don't like this guy. This guy set me up, put this out. And she started to feel like, nah, what, do you even have any receipts about this? And he didn't have receipts, and he was kind of getting ticked off. And the fact that he's clearly being investigated by the feds, they're clearly listening to his phone calls. She don't want to be caught up in that. Nobody does. Especially because if you're having me put out information that may not be true because you don't have receipts, these are just your inklings and accusations and possible revenge kink, that could be classified in a court of law with you being investigated by the feds. That could be classified as witness intimidation. I have no proof that these people that you keep telling me are monsters. I have nothing, you know, and it's very clear that Bishop Lamor Whitehead does have this he doesn't like to lose. And if he feels like you're putting information out on him, even if it's true and it doesn't make him look great, or if you're not giving commentary that praises him, he is going to be stuck on you for weeks. He has this revenge thing, and he'll even make up sometimes. So Tasha was like, nah, I ain't with that. You trying to get me caught up in this federal case. They listening to these phone calls every time you call me on the phone. And she said they had a big blow up on the phone, and she told him not to call her no more. Because he, you know, he was trying to like base on her, like, because she didn't want to put out stories without receipts, and asked her, like, are you threatening me? And she's like, I'm not threatening you. I'm just not putting out your stories without receipts. Stop calling me. So that's what Tasha said. And also stealing churches. Yes, because he is stealing churches. A lady 747. He's stealing churches. So, like I said, he was supposed to be on the deed to help the Glory of God religious, institution refinance, but he had them evicted instead, which was fraudulent while he was under indictment because that wasn't the agreement. And if that wasn't proven to be true, then they would have never gotten their church back. They got their church back because they were able to prove the intent of why he was on the deed in the manner in which he was, and not as a co-signer, but as somebody who could actually make decisions, which again wasn't the smartest move on the church's behalf, but he went in there and gained their trust and did whatever. This was a scheme set up from Todd from the beginning. Okay. So, that's what's going on with Bishop Lamor Whitehead. Okay. So it sucks. He says she looked like Jag in that clip. Some people say she sound like Jag too. But you know, I don't know if Foxy's going back to jail. It depends on how smart she is or is not being with her involvement. Is she talking to him on a certain phone that's being recorded? She might be a better, she might be not as sloppy as Lamar. Lamar can be kind of sloppy with how he gets over on people. So look, it is what it is. Hit thumbs up on the video. We're at 470 people. Y'all need to make sure y'all liking this video. I do appreciate all of y'all support in any way in which y'all do support. Okay. So that's that story. Let me catch my breath because that was a lot. I'm trying to think, did I leave anything out? Did I leave anything out? I always wonder if Mayor Eric Adams is going to go down with him as well. I always wonder that. Salute Pastor Whitehead. He misunderstood and healing people. So yeah, I'm not sure how Foxy Brown lost her hearing. I'm not sure. But that's because I know you lying. Like, don't. Hey, think what you want to think. You ain't got to agree with me to kick it on the bus. But I'm gonna give you the side eye every time you say something crazy, child. Like, what's going on? You said you like my cup. Thank you so much. You can order this from JasmineMadeIt.com and you can use my code Jane for 10% off your purchase, even if you're only purchasing one item. Okay, I played that commercial earlier in the show. Okay, let's move on to this leprechaun Tory Lanez, child. Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez. Allegedly what? Ooh, not an STD. Tory Lanez. Listen, his motion for a new trial has been denied. Who shot Meg? Who shot Meg? She didn't shoot herself. That's what we do know. It was either Tory or it was Kelsey. Big debate. Big debate. It really could have been an in-between thing. You know, when people are tussling over a gun and there's two different people holding it and it goes off, it could have been a two-party thing. However, if any of y'all have heard the phone call that Tory Lanez made where he was so apologetic, so he's like, I'm so sorry. You know, it was giving guilty. It was giving guilty. What are you apologizing for if you didn't do anything? And why did all of y'all go in there and play these word games? Kelsey played all these word salad games, which leads me to believe that maybe both of them were tussling over the gun. You know, there could have been one shot fired by one person and then there's a tussle over the gun. But it's not snitching when you're on the line for 9 to 22 years. If they pull me in and they lock me up and I'm sitting in jail for a couple months and I literally saw who committed the crime, I'm not sitting there. I'm not snitching, but I also don't want to be in jail. I didn't do it, so let me out. Well, then help them understand who did it. Imagine if three parties are being, and then we can't forget about the security guard too, right? His Tory Lanez bodyguard. If three parties sit up there and are present when a violent crime takes place and everybody goes in there and says, I didn't do it, everybody's not then there for free. If that's the case, the regular way to get yourself off of any violent crime would be, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Let me go. Okay, well, who did it? Let me know. Because somebody got to serve the time. We can't just let all y'all go because so Tory Lanez sat in court and he says to the judge, please don't rule on my life. I could be your son or I could be your brother. He's begging for mercy in the court. He's already been found guilty. He filed a motion for a new trial, and that's been denied. And that's where we are with the story right now. Honestly, I'm exhausted with the Megan Tory thing. I've read the transcripts from beginning to end backstage over the course of 2 days. If you go through the members only playlist, you'll be able to see it. If you are a channel member, obviously. But, you know, with Tory Lanez saying, I could be your son, I could be your brother, don't rule on my life. I think the judge was more so seeing it from the lens of how Megan could have been his daughter or sister. You asking a judge to consider you as somebody's son or brother, but the judge was more so focused on the victim of a crime and seeing her as his potential daughter or sister. And this is a Black judge. Tory Lanez is facing 9 to 22 years in prison. It could be something different. Sentencing doesn't come up until a bit later. The sentencing date is a bit later. However, here's the craziest thing about this whole Tory Lanez debacle thing is his lawyers filed a motion. Child, they are throwing anything to the wall to see what sticks. His lawyer filed a motion to disqualify the presiding judge from Tory Lanez's case and then told the judge that they didn't think that the judge could issue a ruling until the motion was resolved, and the judge disagreed. In other words, Tory's attorney asked the judge to disqualify himself. Hey, judge, disqualify yourself because we feel that you didn't give our motions proper consideration. So disqualify yourself. And we don't think that you should be able to rule on this case until the matter of this motion of us asking you to disqualify yourself are settled. Like a judge is going to be like, you know what? I'll step down because no, at the end of the day, in its synopsis, what the judge was saying over the last couple of days was y'all were focused on some of the most minuscule details that did not definitively prove your client Tory Lanez to be innocent. And there were a lot of larger pictures and pieces of evidence that were more credible. And even the jealous stint, right? Tory's legal team decided to present the jealousy aspect between Meg and Kelsey, or Meg and or Kelsey and or Kylie, because he was being a gigolo at that time. He was truthfully like flirting with all three of them in one way, shape, or form. That didn't help his defense. If anything, they felt like it could give a subconscious motive to Tory Lanez, right? So they was focused on all of the wrong things. None of him being a gigolo had anything to do with, did you shoot this girl or not? Period. And they were focused on some of the most mundane things as opposed to looking at the bigger picture of the situation. And that hurt the case. And that's essentially, in so many words, what the judge said to him or to his legal counsel in the courtroom. So, I mean, could have been great that he didn't take the stand, but he didn't. He might have got himself caught up in a pickle. Kelsey took the stand, but she really said a whole bunch of nothing and didn't talk in direct facts. Everything was very indirect and vague because I feel like she wanted to avoid incriminating herself. I do feel like somehow both Kelsey and Tory are guilty here because there's no reason Kelsey would be talking forwards and backwards like that, talking in riddles. And so I think that overall, my final thought, and I do want to know where it lands with you all as well, my final thought, and share your comments down below as I share my final thought on this situation. Tory thought that because his toxicity, because he's toxic. I got tissues for those of you who disagree. Okay. Tory Lanez thought that because his toxicity won over the minds and hearts of social media, that it would win over the legal system too. And as I was telling y'all earlier, when we were speaking about, oh, child, I still got this ugly fake bishop on the screen. Let me get him out of here. Child. As I was telling y'all earlier, when we were talking about Jonathan Majors, the court of public opinion and the court of law are two totally different things. They're governed and operated two totally different ways. So whatever you pull over with the court of public opinion, don't expect it to be the same in court, because it almost is never going to be. Kind of, sort of. It's never going to be the same. And he thought that because he had pulled the wool, and there's a lot of people going up for Tory. I see it. That's why, for the most part, I stay out of the Meg and Tory discussion. I'm on Meg's side with this, because at the end of the day, she didn't shoot herself. And there was a lot of gaslighting that was done to Megan when this situation happened. And she was trying to stay quiet about it until it just got out of control. And she spoke out and said, he shot me. Maybe she turned around and only saw the last 2 shots, but maybe the first couple of 5 times. 5, boom, boom, boom. And y'all claim y'all have ring camera footage proving that Tory didn't do it. Why didn't y'all bring that up in court and leave it there? Y'all are focused on every other dynamic and creating narratives based off of uncircumstantial things. His attorneys were really nitpicking at a whole bunch of nothingness and minute details, instead of really focusing on the evidence. Everybody, they all kept saying, it's a tape going leak, it's a tape going, it was a door cam across the street that caught it. Why wasn't that the focus? That's it. That's cut and dry. None of this other mess. It's just like Jonathan Majors wanting us to look at pictures of this woman in the club 5-10 hours after the damn assault. That doesn't prove that he never put his hands on her. I've been assaulted in a relationship before. And the shock that you're in afterwards, sometimes the hurt don't set in till the next day or even the day after that. And so you're doing anything to cope in the meantime. I was on the phone with somebody for 10 hours in a row at that time, drove over there, whatever. So focusing on nothingness and saying, here's a photo of her hours later, she's not hurt. That's not your key, especially when you're saying you have footage that he didn't do it. So to bring that back to Jonathan Majors and both Tory Lanez, y'all are focused on the wrong thing. And y'all are more focused on social media and convincing people that are on Twitter. Myself, I'm a representative of Black Twitter. Okay. Y'all more so worried about us. And y'all are not really worried about the true process. And then you're trying to seal what's going on in court, when if it's really as cut and dry as you say it was, I didn't hit her, she hit me. I came home, I saw she was passed out in my closet, and I called 911. That sounds real cut and dry and like you real innocent to me. That narrative alone sounds like extreme innocence. But what you presenting is giving guilty. And how you going about releasing it and distributing it is giving guilty. So, you know, it's just not making sense. It's just not making sense. Shout out to Ray Twice for joining the membership and becoming a backstage ticket. I appreciate you so much. Okay. So yeah, she couldn't have been shot. Right. It was about Meg being quote unquote promiscuous. What the hell does her? First of all, men are promiscuous as hell. They have a problem. They love calling women hoes. And then when it comes to a man, that's just what he's supposed to do. Are y'all okay? Are y'all okay? Tory's a hoe. Well, at least he was. I don't know if he a jail hoe now or whatever the case is, but her sex life and however many partners you think she has or has not had has nothing to do with the crime that was committed against her. And unfortunately, they focused that, and they were driving social media because they know social media is going to run with that. Social media be eating that type of stuff up. How many people you slept with? I said something on the show the other day. I'm like, you know, we were talking about the bus driver thing. I'm like, I don't want to date a guy in the military because sometimes I just feel like they don't have enough assistance when it comes to mental health. I've been down. I've dated several guys I've dated 3-4 guys in the military. And when they be going, and I've been with them down to the VA, they treat them like they don't be giving them help. Guy calls in. He's oh, so you slept with hella military men? Dating is not sleeping with. But I said what I said pertaining to who I am and who I'm not willing to date. Y'all love making the focus of a woman when she's talking about her experience or something that she's gone through. Y'all love to try to make it about body count. And it's never about that when it comes to y'all. And y'all are bigger hoes than us, truth be told. Hello? I was engaged to one of them. But did I sleep with all of them? No. But I dated 3 or 4 of them. So, what's tea? And half of y'all don't even have a decent stroke game because y'all only got 2 partners. Half of y'all are whack. Half of y'all can't attract nobody. And the other half of y'all be fucking Becky's or Big Berthas. Because you can't get anybody that is of the caliber that you want. And that's why you like to troll beautiful women who you know will pass up on you. And because you see a woman that you know you're outside of her requirements, you would rather just argue with her and disrupt the energy. But, you know, whole nother topic. Then the nigga say, I'm 45, you a little girl. And so you're calling in and you're saying on the line to argue with a quote unquote little girl. I guess I am a little girl to you, but you want to argue. We're not even in the same place in life. You can go get you a free stack of pancakes from IHOP right the fuck now because you're so fucking old. So get the fuck off my shit. Okay, moving on. But these men swear they're making a point. Nah. The logic don't be logicking. Argue with somebody your own age. You called me a little girl because I'm more than 15 years younger than you. But, you know, it's always about make a woman a hoe, and that means all her points are invalid. Let's talk about her body count and make all her points invalid. Niggas' body counts never take away from whatever point they're making, no matter how problematic it is. No matter how problematic it is. Notice that. So I'm not having that. I'm not having that. I think it was the West person. But if I'm a little girl, then you're definitely not even qualified. What grown person actually argues with somebody feels like you're too young to even have we don't even have the same options. So how you date and what you think I should accept versus my expectations, we're not even in the same realm. Grandpa, you sound like you need to be putting your application in with a young instead of sitting up and listening to what the young women do and do not want. Like, if you don't go on, you know what it is. You older, you don't have enough money to be anybody's sugar daddy, and so you know you can't even get you a sugar baby because of wherever you are or are not in life. That's the real tea. That's the real syrup of the situation. Yeah, it was Wes. And then he joined the membership and gave money to add his point because he felt like joining the membership and giving his little couple of dollars was going to help me, I guess, not rebuttal his point as hard or at all, help him to get off his problematic sexist and misogynistic take. And I don't think so. I said, thank you for the money. He said, it was just $2. And I said, thank you. I don't care if somebody sent me a 99-cent super chat or cash app, or if they just hit thumbs up on a video and don't give no money. Any amount of engagement, I'm going to say thank you. So thank you, Buster, you sucker, you jive turkey, you slice of cheese with no corners, having ass senior citizen. Nigga, I said thank you and good night. Okay. Ciao. It was a mess. The other guy who called in, the Nigerian man that called in, I respected his take because he wasn't disrespectful with his take, although he felt like a woman should be submissive, even if she make $300K and the guy make 60. You know, I didn't agree with it, but I respected it because he was respectful with his delivery, right? But Wes was calling women animals and everything. So I don't know what you think this is. They said he in the chat now. Is he really? Who? Y'all talking about Wes or you talking about the other guy? I didn't see Wes in the chat. But nonetheless, Wes has an odd kink of the chat is the chat was you know, Wes and other men. Oh, that other guy. Okay, yeah. See, I respected his. I don't agree, but I respect it. I respect it. Damn, I lost my train of thought. Oh, some men really they have a kink when they can't get women, bothering women or trying to trigger women or causing and starting an argument with women, because that's the only way that they can really have a conversation with true women that they feel like are up their alley, desirable, whatever the case is. They have a kink and they get off on disrupting the energy. They do. Like they get, and that was Wes, because this is the guy who called in the other night. He wasn't really trying to bother anybody. That's just what he thought. And there might have been because he shared that he's Nigerian. So there could be a cultural disconnect, right? I do know in other regions of the world, there are different expectations on what marriage should be, how you should treat your spouse, what you should and shouldn't be tolerating, and the gender roles and things of that nature. But Akeem literally wasn't trying to bother anybody with his take. He was just giving his take. And that was that. You know, that was that. So I respected it. I respected it. So yeah. I respected it. Can I, you know, I really wouldn't mind having another conversation with you again, but I do have some other topics I need to get through. So let me get back to my script. If we have time at the end, then I wouldn't mind having you call in and we could talk again, because you know, you had your points and you were respectful. Okay. So let's get on to the next thing. Now, this child, this man, Nick Cannon, baby. Oh. I'm so sick of Nick Cannon. It's just the fact that he's intentionally sharing these problematic takes and posts so much, so often, all the time. Who's asking him these questions? Why? Why is all of this randomness and miscellaneousness our business? Nick Cannon? John, let me show y'all what's going on with Nick Cannon right now. Let me show y'all. Is there anybody else tied to Nick Cannon? Anybody? Anybody at all? Nick Cannon says that he decides, let me make this big on the screen. He decides which of his partners to sleep with based on who calls him that day. Let's read the narrative just to get the full picture. They said Mr. Super Sperm. He did an interview with the LA Times and they asked about his personal life, which he described as an urban 50 Shades of Grey. I'm sure that all that discharge coming from all them different people is great too, because he shared he don't wear condoms. He's not doing it. And you know he got 10 baby mamas and 13 kids. So Nick goes further in the details about how he chooses where to sleep between all of his baby mamas. He said, a lot of times it's whichever of them have called me that day. To be honest, I'm such a creature of habit. I like who likes me. I'm not trying to know nobody pH levels and shit like that, but I am worried about them. I'm concerned about them. I'm shooting prayers up about them. Cause ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way. And why can't, you know what I mean? It's one thing to have some things about and some habits and ways about life that are unpopular and the people. What's wrong with keeping it to yourself? Why can't we bring back shame? Why can't we bring back secrets? Y'all celebrities, y'all used to have an element of mystique about y'all. That's what made y'all so goddamn interested. Now y'all are so captivated by this whole relatability aspect and outraging people intentionally in order to get yourself to trend, to get people to watch the episode of Wildin' Out Tonight, or to watch whatever other show that you might be hosting. That y'all, it's problematic. And y'all kids got to grow up with these headlines, and they're all gonna resurface. When your kids, Nick, get to be 10 and 15 and 18 and 20, all of this is going to be, so who wants to see or understand all that about their parents? Nobody. That's who. I don't want to hear about how my father selected how often he slept with my mother, or anything related to what be going on in his bedroom. And it's unprovoked. Every time I scroll on social media, I learn or find some random unwanted information about Nick Cannon, and I'm tired of it. It's just like the Krishan and Blueface info. Ain't nobody asking for it, y'all. But y'all just keep just why?
Why?
No consideration for your child whatsoever. This oversharing has gotten to be too much. I thought us everyday people were bad. Y'all celebrities are becoming a little bit worse than the everyday citizen with the way that y'all overshare. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And at his big age, he's at a really big age. Let's stop playing.
Nigga, you gotta be ashamed of yourself, nigga. Real talk. You gotta be ashamed of yourself. All as you is.
It's too much. It's too much. Oh, Lord have mercy. Scratch these things off my list. Nick Cannon's nasty sex life, check. Okay, real quick, we need to get into Wendy Williams. I'm really disappointed with what's happening with Wendy Williams and the media. See, my goal was 2 hours. It looks like we're gonna be 2 hours and 30 minutes instead. That's still not bad. Yeah. So Wendy Williams is back in the news now because apparently CNN is their ratings are plummeting really bad, 61%, which is almost kind of like an all-time high for their other two competitors. And CNN is considering, according to reports, rebooting the Wendy Williams show as we know it. I think that's a little problematic. I think it's a horrible idea. I mean, horrible idea. I think it is. Reason being is I think everybody can agree, like she's not in a place. So I think that they're trying to revive their network by bringing back something that they know is a cult classic and that traditionally had some really high ratings. Wendy Williams' show always did really good, even when her health wasn't that great. Because her mouth is She's a classic shock jock. She is a classic shock jock, and she successfully translated that over from radio to television. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think she's in the right state. Every single time we see her out in public with cameras, she looks bewildered. She looks shocked. She doesn't look well, and I think that she should be focused on rest and recovery rather than trying to do another run of the Wendy Williams show. Another reason that I feel like is a really hard-hitting reason as to why this is a terrible, and I love Wendy Williams. Listen, I'm not hating because I studied Wendy Williams. There's not a single female behind a microphone, whether it's radio, television, YouTube, myself included, that can't credit Wendy Williams for some of the reason as to why she is a trailblazer. And she's broken down a lot of barriers for women in entertainment, period, because it is a male-dominated industry. Okay. And I even study her, and I still study. I study her radio format to go back and I listen to her old radio shows and I rewatch her old Wendy Williams shows. She is a legend. Okay. However, Wendy Williams podcast, right? Y'all remember when we were being told that we were going to get a Wendy Williams Experience podcast? Well, they canceled that. I wonder why. Because Wendy Williams is not well enough and she doesn't give us enough cohesive thoughts. And a lot of times when she's out in the media, it hurts her reputation and her legacy as opposed to her leaving it where it is. Wendy Williams is surrounded also by a lot of vultures who really just want her money. They don't care if she succeeds or they fail when they put her up and prop her up on these sticks. They know it's going to sell even if it's selling because people are hate or criticize watching because they want to laugh. If Wendy Williams goes out there and fails and falls on her butt and falls, just like that episode when she fell in the New York costume and fell to the ground, one of the highest viewed episodes. So even if she fails, she's still going to get the numbers, and the people that are propping her up are still going to get their cut of the pie. That's all they want. They're not concerned about her well-being. If they canceled a podcast, child, and traditionally a podcast is not attached to a visual format. You might find more of the modern day or present day podcasts attach a visual for the sake of giving something extra, an extra way to connect for people who want a visual to go along with what they're listening to. But the traditional sense of a podcast, and Wendy knows a lot about the traditional forms of media coming from radio and where she came from, the traditional sense of a podcast does not come with, nor does it require a visual or video. So if they can't get Wendy to string together some coherent thoughts and to speak about current events, her own life's experience in the industry, whatever the subject matter was going to be about the podcast, which allows you to be able to edit. So even if she messes up and she has some times where she says something that's just like loopy, not okay, whatever, you can edit it out and still stitch it together and market and successfully sell this podcast. But if they can't even get her to do something without a visual and to get a podcast together, and now the podcast is canceled, what makes you think that an on-screen format, and the Wendy Williams show it's very demanding on the talent. Hell, what I do be hella demanding on me. I don't like going live unless I have all of my points and all of my links and all of my topics and all of my pictures. And that's a lot to do. And I'm just a little old nobody, right? I'm being humble, but I do believe I'm somebody. But compared to Wendy Williams, who the fuck am I? I don't have an Emmy Award winning show. Wendy Williams does. That show won an Emmy. But it's a very high demand show. It takes a lot out of you. You show up early that morning, you got to do hair, makeup, get familiar with the topics and all this. And then be on camera and control your facial expressions and how you get it off too. I feel like Wendy Williams is getting to the point where she does need a podcast, and it needs to be Howard Stern based, kind of like. Let her be older and let her just shoot from the hip. Older people can get away with just shooting from the hip. Now, Howard Stern was a little racist, so obviously I'm not telling Wendy to be like insensitive to any like color-based issues. What I'm saying is, hearing an older person who is unfiltered, it can be very entertaining for us younger people. And they have the license to do that more so than we do. And Wendy Williams has seen and experienced a lot, especially in the industry. My idea for her is speak about your experiences in a male-dominated industry and how many times you were treated wrong, and expose the industry. She runs her mouth about any and everybody else. Expose the industry. It's a male-dominated thing. You broke down barriers. Tell us how you did this, all of the unfair circumstances that you overcame. Tell us about that. And don't censor yourself. That's why I feel like a podcast would be really good for Wendy Williams. But CNN, they're considering rebooting the Wendy Williams show. And truthfully, I don't think it's going to work. I think that unfortunately, Wendy Williams is at a place where she's, I don't want to say she's broke, but I do think that, what's the right words? Her money is all sold up at Wells Fargo. She still can't access her own money, but they'll let her pay her bills that were previously coming out of the Wells Fargo account. So she still has her money, well, a great deal of it. They're just not letting her access it because they feel like she's not well enough to get to her own money. And the fact that she's selling all of her things, and it just hit the news and media that she's even selling her purple chair. She's selling her the iconic purple chair. She's selling it, meaning she needs the money. I would hate to think that her financial, where she is with her finances is forcing her to go back to work in a way which really might ruin her legacy even further than, unfortunately, it's already been negatively affected. You know what I'm saying? Like, not you selling a purple chair. It's a really unfortunate, it's a really sad thing to watch, with Wendy being somebody that I don't agree with all of her ethics, but I do look up to her, and she's done a lot. She's done a lot to the point where she's been able to be a mentor to some of the present day male powerhouses and trailblazers that we have now. And again, you might not agree with their behaviors and their politics, but at the end of the day, Charlemagne wouldn't be who he is today if it wasn't for the fact that Wendy Williams mentored him. A woman mentored a guy that's on syndicated radio, got his own podcast, is all over television. Problematic past? Oh, yes. Not denying that. Not denying that. But she's even mentored some of the power men who are on top right now. Wendy's got some skill, and she's got a lot that she's seen, that she's learned, that she's been through. That's why I think the podcast about the industry would be really good for her. But hey, you know. That's what it is. Thank you so much, Ray. It says, love watching you, and I appreciate your hard time at work. Thank you. I do appreciate that. She's not well enough to spend her own money, but they think she can do a reboot. Exactly. It's really sad to see. Yeah, I don't think she's broke, but she just can't get to her money. She just can't get to her money. And that was also something that she most recently, that she's already filmed some form of a show. They've confirmed that it's not a reality show, but there's something else that she's filmed. And I wonder about them releasing that too. Is this going to make her look good or bad? Is this going to have the internet laughing and dragging her? Or is this really going to represent her as the Wendy Williams that we know her to be? I'm concerned about her rush to get back to being in front of somebody's camera. If it's not going to really do her well. That's all I'm concerned about. So, you know, I don't think she's broke. She just can't spend like she used to. And she's surrounded by vultures who were spending her money when she couldn't get to her money. She was a little loopy when she told us that, but she named the man that did it. I think his name was Barry something. And he locked her out of her account by saying that she wasn't well enough, and then went and swiped $10,000 on her American Express. And she's like, oh, really? I'm not well enough to spend my money, but I see that you just spent $10,000. Sucks. It's almost kind of like a conservatorship that they got her under. So, you know, it's really sad. The podcast would be a really good way to polish her up and give her a fresh image without her having to worry about her looks, because her looks are nowhere near what they used to be. And that's no shade. It's just, what is the illness again? Lymphedema. Her eyes are always like so big, and it has something to do with her health. And so sometimes she can just look bewildered and startled and not well. And really, it's just her eyes can't adjust to certain flashes and cameras. I just don't feel like she needs to be putting herself under the stress of trying to be in front of the camera when she could really just focus on the audio aspect of giving us some bomb entertainment, which, hello, she's clearly really good at. That's how she was born. You know what I mean? Behind the microphone, no camera. The camera came in later on, but Wendy can definitely entertain us without a visual. Come on, like, let's be real. I think Wendy has given up on life. I feel like she thinks she doesn't have anything to live for. I'm not sure if she's spiritual or believes in a higher power she needs to tap into. Good point. Good point. Yes, a comfortable environment would be really good for her. Remember how Bobby Brown portrayed Whitney Houston? I don't need them putting out anything about Wendy while she's in this state. They're clearly just trying to profit. Yeah. Yeah, it's the Graves' disease. Yeah, she has a couple. She's got the lymphedema. I might be saying it wrong. And then she has the Graves too. So I just feel like she's putting herself under unnecessary stress sometimes. And it worries me. It concerns me. That's my girl. Yes, pre-recorded. She don't really have to be doing a whole bunch of live stuff. Child. Lymphedema. That's how you say it. Okay. All right. So listen, y'all know things are always sticky in Hollywood and in real life, child. Let's get into the next topic. Make sure you paid your fare. Oh, Kristen and Ray, thank you so much for the cash apps. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate you all so much. Make sure you hit thumbs up and drop some pancakes in the chat to support the stream. If you haven't already, it's okay if you ain't got a couple dollars to give. Hit thumbs up and drop some pancakes. It's just as appreciated, okay? So now what we need to get into. Now this blew my muffin cat bag. Blue, all right? Found this out, I think, the day before yesterday. Y'all remember the bride of Chucky? That little creepy, you know what, matter of fact, I'm gonna pull up a picture. Y'all remember all of these different films that had this really scary looking doll in it named Chucky? Well, there was an actor who actually it was made into a doll, but there was an actor who actually portrayed Chucky in the film. The Bride of Chucky, one of them was called Child's Play. Kind of like a psychological thriller. This was a creepy little doll that would come alive and always had a knife in his hand and just crazy stuff, right? The guy who played Chucky, turns out, from what I'm seeing, he actually was a real life dwarf. He wasn't just, he was doll sized. How about he's a predator and a pedophile and ain't been held accountable for it? Let's get into the video, baby. When I tell you, hell is hot, the world is on fire, and I'm waiting for Jesus to come back with the trumpets. I'm waiting for God to come and pick us up, or the aliens to zap us up. Either way, I just feel like the aliens can zap us up, right? The aliens can zap me up. I'm willing. I'm gonna get it. Earth is just getting too ghetto for me. America is especially getting too ghetto. I feel like, okay, aliens, you can come pick me up, and we can spin the block a couple times around the galaxy or the world, and then can you drop me off at the pearly gates? Like, what's really going on? Because it's ghetto down here, and I'm tired of it. I'm really tired of it. But no, his name, the actor who played Chucky in Child's Play and The Bride of Chucky and all that other stuff, his name is Gale or Edward Gale, and he's famous for the role of Chucky. And he was caught as in an online child predator ring, but he wasn't arrested because it seemed like sick and elderly, can't breathe, blah, 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 blah. So let's get into this video. Let's get into this, because when I tell you, like, why didn't they just take him in? Why didn't they? Why are pedophiles getting leeway because they old and decrepit? Don't nobody care about that. Lock this thug up. Lock this thug up. Do you hear me?
This kid.
So they're asking him if he said any. Basically, what happened was he was found speaking to a 10-year-old and asking for nudes and always having sexual conversations with a 10-year-old online. And that was just like, you know, these organizations where their whole life's mission is to catch people like this. He was asked this, and this is where we are with the conversation. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into the.
Well, you have proof, so I gotta say yes.
How many do you think?
So he has been talking to more than just the one child that they caught him with, and they showed up and had the text messages printed out and everything. Now he's admitting to it.
You don't have to be 100% accurate. Just give me a ball.
Thank you.
Give me a ballpark.
9,842. I'm gonna say 10.
10 kids you talk sexually online.
I guess so.
That's what you remember.
No.
So there is more?
No.
So
Definitely no more than 10.
The 10 kids.
It's like you asked me my weight right now.
Okay.
The last time I was weighed was too long ago.
So
I weigh 127.
How old
are
are
these?
these?
I weigh about 120.
How old were these 10 kids?
Oh, that I couldn't tell you. That I could not tell you.
What was the youngest?
That I could not tell you. But I will say all under 18.
You said right here, red, it will match your butts.
Yeah, because we talked about spanking back.
Oh, so you're gonna spank him so hard until his butt is red?
You don't have to spank it hard.
Well, that's what you just said. You said his butt's gonna be red.
Yeah, but look at me. That's my hand. You know, you can do that. My hand will turn red. Or you can just do this.
So you're gonna do it for a very, very long time until it turns red, or you?
It's him thinking that explaining the different degrees and different type of butt slaps was going to somehow make this less of an illicit, sinister, egregious act. For me. No, I ain't gonna tap it too hard. It might turn red. It might not turn red. I might tap the butt a little soft. Like, sick. You sick. You ain't a Negro, but you's a sick Negro. I mean, like, what the hell? Just what the hell?
This is a sick Negro.
This was really interesting to me as well.
Kids sexually.
Is you can see, you know, he's really proud of what he's done because you can still see this Chucky paraphernalia in the background. Y'all, you know, and the fact that he's 59 years old, okay? He's 59 years old. He openly admits that he frequently engages in sexual conversations with minors and even requests naked pictures, and we all know what that is, right? Child pornography. And I say pornography on purpose just because saying it is just kind of blah, blah, blah. Some of his devices were confiscated. However, he was not taken into custody. There is an entire article write-up on this. I'm going to pull that up for a second just so that you know it's real. It's not just some, look-alike situation. There's an actual write-up on this. Okay, so let me make this bigger on the screen. Creep Catchers, child advocacy group, child's play actor in Hollywood. So you can see his name is right here at Gale. This is where I got the information about them. You can see they're holding up the text messages right here. You said you're going to spank him. You turn, and there was more to the interrogation as well. You turn every conversation sexual. What is that? Look, he's got these life-size Chucky dolls of himself. And they're literally life-size because that's his height. Okay? No shade, no tea. That's how tall he is. This is this man. This is this man. And so he turns every conversation. Look, he says that he was asked a question. Every conversation you guys talk about, you turn it into something sexual, don't you? He says, I did. Yes. The guy says, why would you turn everything sexual, Ed? Chucky says, not me calling him Chucky. Chucky said, because this is a whole hookup in the making. I'm like, damn, he hella bold about this. This is out of pocket. When asked how many kids he'd had sexual conversations with, he said that he think it might have been 10 other victims. I'm admitting I'm wrong and I know it was illegal, he says, and I'm admitting that I'm sorry. So, like I said, they confiscated some of his devices, but he was not taken into custody. When I tell you, you need to watch your child's activity, I don't know if the Yahoo chat rooms existed like they did when I was coming up in what was it, AOL, when it used to be ASL, which was age, sex, location, when you would start a conversation. Go through your child's phone. I don't care how intrusive they think it is. Go through your child's phone because this is sick. This is sick. Okay. And I truly need to go to the bush for a second because this is nasty that this dwarf is out here trying to find children that are taller than him and do nasty stuff and trying to get naked pictures of children. This is not okay. And why you know what? If he was black, they would have took him in. They would have took him in if he was black. Y'all already found all the evidence. He admitted. Now, had he shut the hell up, but he admitted a lot verbally. Why didn't y'all take him in? The system is so trash. The system is so trash. Because he got a breathing tube and he a dwarf? Take that dwarf in the motherfucker. I don't care if you put him in juvenile services because of his size, because he might blend in a little better. Take him off the streets. Let's go to the bush.
It was gone.
Let me just go in the bush and weep. Let me just go in the bush and weep. I just have to go in the bush and weep. Really. I don't understand. I swear to God, I don't understand.
An extreme hot mess. How many kids has he really violated in his lifetime? Stay on your kids. All these sickos, and why is he? This is a good point. I wonder how many has he? He. Now we got internet versions of To Catch a Predator, but this is Chris Hansen. Where are you at? Damn, we got all this recording going on. At least the satisfaction for us at the end of Chris Hansen's show, To Catch a Predator. The same man that caught the booty warrior on the Boondocks. At least at the very end of To Catch a Predator, we saw them get caught by the police at the end. They come in there bringing a 6-pack of beer, butt naked in to meet with a 13-year-old child. Now, why is this? I don't know. I guess these different online groups, maybe they don't have the same power and connections as To Catch a Predator. However, the police were right there. We saw it. And they still didn't take him in. That's so problematic to me. That's so problematic to me. That's so problematic. And if he was black, they would have taken him in. Didn't matter who he was. Let's just say he was Jonathan Majors. They would have taken his black ass in. Terrible. She said, I would have asked him, where's your extra oxygen tank so that you can have it with you in jail? Okay. I won't look at Chucky the same anymore. You can't. You can't. Oh, right. Not juvie. He'd have too much fun. You know what? I wasn't even thinking about. You're right. You're right. You're right. I mean, you're right. No excuses. I was going to say they can put him in ice. What do they call it? What they call it when you completely isolated? Even still, yeah, you're right. That was totally the wrong thing for me to say. That was just me correlating his height to something. Because I don't know. Maybe he might say he goes to the adult jail and gets bullied. But you know what? Honestly, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? You're right. He would have too much fun in juvie. That was no. In the long term, that don't even make sense. What I said. You're right. Solitary confinement. That's what they call it. Yeah. So, child, these parchment paper colored people, these Ku Klux Kens and Karens, and these flower colored people, it just in another episode of what the hell is wrong with y'all? We need to look at a brawl. A brawl. You can tell that's not a regular word in my vocabulary. I can't even pronounce brawl. Brawl. We need to look at a brawl. So let's look at this brawl, because apparently, the general consensus amongst people in general, and especially white folk, is that black people are so ghetto. We don't know how to act. We get places and we don't know how to act. But baby, we done caught a little something on camera that proves that y'all parchment paper colored people, y'all don't have no home training either. If we gonna keep it a buck, y'all know the Kentucky Derby was not too long ago. And here go the parchment paper people. The lice lieutenants fighting. Child, look at it. Look at these thugs. Let's take a look at these thugs real quick. Because, baby, these thugs was thugging it out. Look at these ghetto thugs. Lock them up. Officer, lock up these ghetto. You can't take them nowhere, can you? Ooh.
Sterling Racing, Commonwealth Racing.
And look at the lady. She's supposed to be so dainty. Does she not know how to behave? Why is she being so aggressive? Does she date bus drivers? I have questions. I want to pull her to the side and tell her to stop being so aggressive and to date bus drivers, because she's just doing too much. You know what I mean? Ooh, these thugs out here acting a fool. Sterling Racing, Commonwealth Racing. know what? I honestly can't take any more of these Mayo people out here in the streets knucking if they're bucking. They're out here knucking and bucking and ready to fight. These people are throwing fists, and these folks aren't thinking twice. It's bothering my spirit, because why don't they have any couth? You know what I mean? Why don't they have any home training or decorum? They're out here acting like wild animals, and they're acting like hooligans. Why? Why? I felt like if you were the color of a manila folder and you're so better than us Black people, us Negroes, why are you out here being so ghetto? I thought you were the example of how to act. This is why I consistently say white is not the standard, because they can be some ghetto thugs that need to be arrested too. The ghetto, woo chow. Q Nene, y'all out here throwing bows. Oh, and your Sunday's best too? Oh my God. Oh my God. Is this what we've become? Oh. Wow. It seems that ghetto comes in more than one color. And damn it, I'll be. Because let y'all tell it with y'all revisionist history asses. We are the ghetto unkept animals. Y'all were out here to watch them goddamn horses, and instead y'all were out here acting like one. Oh my God. Oh my. My Jesus Christ. Oh. These mayonnaise mascots, these are y'all examples. These are y'all leaders that speak down on us. These mayonnaise mascots. Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. I just had to pull up this example and make it explicitly known that white people can be ghetto too. Leave it to Beaver gone wrong. Y'all know what? Y'all ain't right. What's really going on here? Someone let me know and help me understand. Help me. Can you help me? All right. I just had to let you all know. Okay. They say the male rage. I can't with these 40-ounce shenanigans. It's a lot. I just don't understand why they can't go out here and just act like they have some sense. All they do is fight. Ain't that what they say about us? What? All they do is fight. Thugs. Thugs! Thugs. Yeah, I said it, and I won't take it back. So I've been getting lots and lots of requests between the comments, and then the Discord has let me know comments that I've missed, that people wanted to see the Karen, the airport or the airplane video again, where the Karen got a dose of herself via a Black person. I call him K-Ron. Let's go ahead and get into it again. Today's foolishness on social media, child, has been hilarious. Okay.
Lady right here, she want to take her phone out and she want to record me. Where she's at?
She's right there.
Evidently.
Don't touch me. You're assaulting me now. You're assaulting me. You're touching me. You're assaulting me.
Thank you. No, you need to go to hell. Thank you. Oh, okay. I'll make sure I save a spot for you. I understand that we all are waiting, but well, that's not how I work. I make the rules as I go. Well, I make the rules as I go. I don't know about you, but I do.
Well, I break them.
Guess what? And I'm breaking them right now, too. Excuse me.
Oh, my God.
Hey, boss.
Hey, we got a hostile one back here.
Yes, we do. He is too. He's knocking people over.
Don't be rude to me, because one thing I can do is be rude back to you. Is what I can be.
Oh. Let's just take it down.
I am, but I'm just saying, she's talking I'm hostile, but I can be rude as well. I didn't push no damn body. You want to stand in the way like you're a bodyguard, I moved you out my way, is what I did. Huh?
You're not worth it.
It's not worth it.
You're not.
I'm an African American, darling. I'm always worth it.
You're rude, a brawl.
I'm a rude, I'm ignorant, I'm urban, I'm everything that you don't want me to be. And guess what? Fuck you and your camera, darling. Yes, it is everywhere I go. You get me a good drink, I'll show you who the fuck I am. She want to record, I'll give her a show.
Rolex on your wrist, a plain Jane.
Karen meets K-Ron. K-Ron let them have it. You think you're the only one who can be a little bougie and entitled and tell you about yourself and give you a piece of my mind? Well, goddamn it, here I am, buddy. Yowza. I've arrived. Here's a dose of your own medicine, Karen. Let me introduce myself. My name is K-Ron. Okay. K-Ron gave them a dose. Them Karens did not know. We've got an unruly one. What they say? We've got an aggressive one back here. Okay. Guess what? K-Ron gave them the business, and I ain't mad at him. Okay, he said he need a drink to show him who he is. Throw it on my tab, baby, because I will pay good money. Okay, he's got more personality than Tiffany had. Not Tiffany Haddish, child. Tiffany Pollard. I Love New York. Woo! He did that. Okay. He did that. Oh. Iron Rose said that non-binary was like, move, get up. Y'all is so crazy. So crazy. I skipped over a very important story that I was supposed to touch on earlier. Let me get into this now. We do need to get into... I checked on it and I didn't. Yeah, I do need to get into this story. Very important piece of real news that we need to get into. You remember I've been covering the 6-year-old boy who ended up taking a firearm to school and actually shooting his first grade teacher. And she suffered a bullet wound through her hand and through her chest because this 6-year-old came to school and had a loaded weapon and knew how to fire, aim, and shoot. So I've been covering this story, and more things have come out about this story. And actually, the mom of this 6-year-old boy, we got her mugshot. We see that one of the updates that I gave you all a while ago, I just didn't chop it up into an individual video, was that where they're starting with pressing charges, because somebody got to be held accountable for this. And I truly do think it is between school administration and the parents. I do think the blame lies both places, but their starting point, even if they take it any further, is pressing charges on the mother, because the weapon was registered in her name. And the fact that the weapon was left in an area or vicinity in which the child was able to access this. And then I think the overall thought process of the fact that he really knew how to work it is it's quite bizarre. And so they're starting there and charging her with I believe it's a misdemeanor and not a felony. But she's spoken out for the first time. And I made it a point to not listen to what it is that she had to say, because I want to listen to it for the first time with you all. So let's get into that. Let me see. Let's see. Hold on, because I do remember that I gotta Okay. I got a super chat. I didn't want to skip over the super chat. Queen Vonna sent a $19.99 super chat and says, just want to show Jane and all the stickies some love. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that and you supporting the platform. It definitely means a lot to me. So yes, let's get into what this mother had to say for the first time. I'm curious. I've seen like 2 comments about what she said. And I'm like, I want to formulate my opinion on the fly because I already have a ton of thoughts about this. And I feel like I have a pretty good shot, no pun intended, at where the where the blame lies pertaining to this situation. There was so much that they missed. This boy had a lot of behavioral issues leading up to that. And the school just didn't do enough to protect the staff and the students from this situation. And of course, the mother could have done more as well when it comes to parenting her own child. So we need to talk about this. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into her sentiments. Okay. Oh, I ain't got Tyra Banks on y'all in a while. That's interesting. But no, let's go ahead and get into the next segment. Make sure you hit thumbs up. Make sure you drop some pancakes in the chat, and we'll be right back in 60 seconds to get to the rest of the show.
So let's see if you're really about it. If you've been serious about what you've been saying about wanting to support more Black-owned businesses, here's your chance. I found a spot for us to grab our hats, hoodies, affordable electronics, phone accessories, and gadgets from. It's over on edwerso.com. That's EDWERSOW.com. Grab something for your hubby, your wife. Hey, I ain't encouraging that side chick behavior, but it's just in time for the holidays. So head on over there and grab your AirPod cases, hoodies, and affordable electronics. That's edwerso.com, EDWERSOW.com. And I'll see you over there. It's time to face it, boo. Your product needs more exposure. If you want to see your ad here on my channel, be sure to shoot an email over to yt.theplainestjane@gmail.com and let's chat. But if you're new in my neighborhood here on YouTube, hey, I'm The Plainest Jane, and I provide coverage and commentary on trending stories, viral events, and Black culture. I definitely appreciate you stopping through and hitting that subscribe button if you like more of my particular brand of syrup.
All right, and we are back. Are y'all enjoying the show? Can you put a 9 in the chat if you're enjoying the show? Put an 8 in the chat if the show is just trash to you and you're like, why are you here, Jane? You're not even good at this. Put a 9 in the chat if you're enjoying the show. Put an 8 in the chat if you're not. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Sometimes I just need a second to breathe in between stories. We've been live for 2.5 hours. So sometimes I need a breather, and it makes it easier if I'm just asking y'all a question. To take my little breather. Okay. So 9. I'm glad I don't see no 8s. Okay. I'm glad I don't see no 8s. No 8s. No, I do appreciate the engagement. I don't like going live being mediocre or last minute or like not having my thoughts together. Like I just feel like if I'm giving y'all my time and giving y'all content, that's what I would rather be gone for 5 days than to give y'all half-ass videos every other day, right? Like I don't know. But I am trying to up my consistency again because things happen in real life, but I won't get into that. I spoke about that in the beginning of the video. The 6-year-old who took a weapon to school. We need to talk about that. I've covered this extensively. I told y'all from jump that this was a Black student. Some people tried to jump down my throat and argue with me about how I'm an aspect of the media because I'm portraying this like this is a Black child and Black children don't do that. And we're about to look at the mom here. This is a woman of color. I had well-placed sources who gave me intel, who live in Newport News, Virginia, because that's exactly where this took place, and alerted me to this. Now, is anybody releasing the name of the student? No, that's not even ethical, because he's a juvenile, right? Just like with any other juvenile's record, especially because he's 6. But let's get into this. This is a story that has stuck with me. It's really unfortunate that it happened on January 6th. I feel like January 6th, unfortunately, is plagued with just unfortunate circumstances, right? We think about the resurrection and what happened with the Proud Boys down. What was it? Trump kind of dog whistled and incited it. And then this happened on June the 6th of this year. So this was really sad. The teacher is suing for quite a bit of money. And honestly, I hope that she gets at least half. I think she's suing for $40 million, if I'm not mistaken. And of course she ain't gonna get $40 million, but I hope she does get something. Because to be a teacher and to be teaching some first graders, and to think that I might go to school tomorrow and get shot by one of my 6-year-old first graders is bizarre to me. I can see why a lot of people are leaving the profession of teaching. These kids are too much to deal with, whether they're teenagers. Is 6-year-old considered toddler? What do you consider a 6-year-old? How do you classify them? You wouldn't classify them as a baby, whatever. Elementary, middle, or high school, I can see why these teachers are like, you know what? I ain't doing it. At some point, it's going to be AI, and people are going to be complaining about not having a personable experience with learning professionals. But that's just too bad. You know, a lot of this starts at home. The teachers can't do more than what the parents are doing at home as far as letting them know what's right and what's wrong and adequately punishing them. So, nonetheless, okay, let me see. What's the frequency in the chat? Insurrection, not resurrection. I said resurrection. Child, not me talking about Jesus waking up on the 3rd day, child. Lord have mercy. Y'all know I wasn't talking about Jesus waking up. I was talking about the Proud Boys going up to the damn White House. Lord, thank you so much. Adolescent, okay, that's what you would call it. School age, okay, gotcha. Child, you would just say child. Okay. So not toddler. Got you. I did see there was another super chat. Thank you so much, Artichoke Hearts, for the $19.99. Excellent show as always, Jane. You're doing an amazing job. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. I'm glad that y'all appreciate my hard work, because if y'all knew how much work goes into these shows when I'm doing my best to infotain y'all, give y'all information and entertain y'all at the same time, it is a lot. And especially when, like for me personally, quick side note, all of these mass shootings are depressing. It's to the point where I am desensitized, because every time I look at my phone, I'm getting another notification about some sort of mass shooting. I cannot read all the details of every one anymore because it impacts my mental health. It makes me sad. So I used to report on mass shootings and be up to, the last one I did, like up to speed. I think it was the one that happened in DC. But I'm like, I can't consistently submerge myself in news like that of people being slaughtered who are just at the market or at the library or outside or at the dollar store, because it negatively affects me. So I'm always in the news, but sometimes I have to navigate the news in such a certain way. And if I see a certain headline, I just won't even move forward with reading the article or getting all the details, because I have to mind my mental peace and my mental health the same way I advise y'all to mind y'all mental health and mental peace. But I still try to give y'all a well-rounded show where we're talking about celebrity stuff, because that's what's going to get the numbers. And it's a little bit more, it's funnier than the everyday news, especially the tragic news. So, you know, I be doing what I need to do to make sure my mind and my mental is okay behind the scenes and in the meantime and in between time of these stories. Like, it's just too much. And it sucks that I'm desensitized to the amount of mass shootings, because it seems like it's like 3 of them happening a day. I'm like, I can't read all these stories and then ultimately be subconsciously afraid to go out and do anything, because it's happening at subway stations, markets, dollar stores, Goodwill stores, anywhere, you know, schools, whatever. Like, I can't do it, but I still want to give y'all a well-rounded show and give y'all a nice blend of everyday and celebrity news. So, yeah. So I got some real stories in here. Some of these were stories that I was following already, such as this one. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this next story. I'm to the police brutality cases. Yeah, the police brutality cases are really, and I did see that homeless brother that got choked on the train up in New York. And that was really unfortunate because they were even trying to hide and suppress the guy who did its name. I was keeping up to date with that story as it was happening in real time. The New York Post put out 3 articles in a matter of like 5 hours. None of them gave the white Marine who did it, ex-military or military member who did its name, right? But they said they reached out to him for comment and he declined to comment. What that signals to me is you knew his name and you knew how to contact him. But you refused to put his name in the article, but you put this man's name in the article. And at the end of the day, that man wasn't threatening anybody. He might have been loud. He might have been yelling because he might have been hungry. But that's not an excuse to sit there and put him in a chokehold like that. I think his name is Mr. Neely. Put him in a chokehold like that for all them minutes. And if anything, that military thing was to add sympathy. A military man, 24-year-old younger military man, it was to add sympathy. And really all it let me know is there's a great amount of training that goes into being in the military. He knows what's a fatal hold and what's not. And that chokehold, he was able to look up. He even looked at directly in the camera of the person who was recording. He knew what he was doing because he's trained. A Marine is kind of up there on the scale of military, right? You've got Army, Marine, Navy. They're different ranks. Marine is kind of up there. So you knew what the hell that was doing. And you did it until he was limp. And no charges were pressed. He walked in and out of the police station that day. Not okay. Not acceptable. I thought about reporting on it, but I ultimately decided not to. Because if y'all remember, my last edited video was about a woman who stabbed her child to death, stabbed her baby to death, an infant. The video got a little over 30,000 views, but that took a lot. And I even seen the video of her doing it. So, every now and then, yeah, I'm going to touch these real serious issues, but I'm not going to say I'm going to dedicate myself like I'm some Fox 45 news anchor or any news anchor, right? Because I know Fox can be problematic, but insert any other station and act like I have to stay on these extremely graphic and horrific stories because that does something to your mental and your mind and your psyche. And I'm not going to be able to do that all the time just to give a well-balanced show. And I'm going to give a well-balanced show, but it ain't always got to be about something gruesome like that. But when I feel like I can handle it and I'm taking note and I'm taking inventory of my mind, and if I can handle it in my capacity, sure. But, it's been a lot of insane things going on lately. A lot of insane things going on lately. So, I do what I can. I know some people might feel like, dang, she black news. She missed out on this story. Did y'all see the story of the black man that I did? And his eyes were, it was a police brutality thing. And I showed this. I have to take it in doses. That's all I have to say. I have to take it in doses sometimes. I think his name was Azil Khalid. I did. And I do several stories that are about, really gruesome police brutality type things. But I can't say every week I'm going to be able to give y'all those stories, So, yeah. And I don't blame the people. A lot of people came into that comment section and said, listen, Jane, I read the title. I want to support you. I hit like, I left. I can't watch it. I don't blame you. Because again, your mental health is worth way more than any video I'll ever create. So, that's that. Okay. I'll just be having to let y'all know where I'm coming from so that y'all understand like who I am and where I operate from as a content creator. I feel like it's important for y'all to know. I like getting to know y'all and stuff and helping y'all get to know me too. But anyway, let's get into our next story, which is really an update, and sit and watch what this mother has to say, if she's making any excuses pertaining to why her 6-year-old child was able to get her loaded weapon, take it to school, and inflict harm upon the teacher. Crazy.
thePLAINESTjane. This is one of my favorite comments here. She says, I loves me some black, and she said, loves me some black news. She says, is it just me, or does anyone else get tired of seeing people that don't look like them delivering info about them day in and day out?
All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. I'm really excited to see what she has to say, because baby, let me turn that off.
New and existing customers can choose the phone they want, like the incredible iPhone 14 on us.
Not to brag, but I'm on Verizon now.
Wow.
And I got to choose the phone I wanted for free. Not bragging.
You're bragging.
You and me? Never. Oh, excuse me. Hello, Your Royal Highness, sir.
Okay, that's a brag.
New and existing customers can choose the phone they want, like the incredible iPhone 14 on us.
On the network worth bragging about.
Verizon.
ABC News exclusive with the mother of the Virginia 6-year-old who shot his teacher. She's speaking about it for the first time.
Lindsay Davis sat down with her and joined us with that. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Michael. Exactly 1 month to the day, a Virginia grand jury indicted Deja Taylor, charging her with child neglect and failing to secure her gun. When I talked to the 25-year-old and her grandfather, who now has custody of her son, she said she wants people to know she's a good mom.
While school shootings in the U.S. are no longer a rarity, what happened at this Virginia elementary school in January was shocking. The shooter was only 6 years old. The victim, his 25-year-old teacher, Abigail Werner. Despite being shot, she managed to get all of her students to safety.
Female victim, she's been shot in the abdomen as well as a through and through into the hand.
Amid the ongoing criminal and civil cases, the family of the first grader who shot his teacher has remained quiet until now.
Does he talk about the incident?
No. He talks a lot more about the day before or the 2 days before than he does about January 6th.
Shortly after the shooting, the family released a statement saying, our son suffers from an acute disability and was under a care plan at the school that included his mother or father accompanying him to class every day. The week of the shooting was the first week when we were not in class with him.
What can you tell us specifically about your son's disability?
So he has ADHD. Some are able to have it at a very mild rate, but he's off the wall, doesn't sit still, ever.
And why did the school decide that it was no longer necessary for the family to be in class?
He had started medication and he was meeting his goals academically.
Had your son ever spoken about hurting the teacher, or was there anything any angst that he had against her?
No, he actually really liked her. I will say that week he did come home and he was talking, a lot about how he felt like he was being ignored. So he would come home and, Mom, I don't think that she was listening to me. I didn't like that. And then actually he ended up getting suspended the next day because he was in class. He was trying to tell her something. And she asked him to go sit back down. He threw his arms up. He said, fine. And when he threw his arms up, he knocked her phone out of her hand on accident. And he got suspended for that.
Ms. Werner did not respond to ABC News' request for comment, but in a lawsuit, she says the student slammed the cell phone on the ground so hard that it cracked and shattered. She's now filed a $40 million lawsuit against the Newport News School District and Rich Neck Elementary officials, claiming they ignored multiple warnings about the student's behavior and concerns that he had a gun. According to the suit, the child had a history of random violence and that he attacked students and teachers alike, both in and out of school.
Is that description accurate?
Whether it is or it isn't, the school enrolled him in September, knowing.
Wait a minute. Y'all were just confronted with a piece of information formed as a question: is he had a long history of random acts of violence. and her legal counsel sits here and says, whether that's true or not, the school enrolled him. But let's listen to the rest of the sentence, because he might be making a little bit of sense with his statement. But there's no way you're going to be able to successfully shift the blame all the way over from yourself, all the way over to them. You share the blame with the school. I'll explain why later.
All of the past behaviors.
The school district released a statement to ABC News saying it cannot release information about a student's educational record. And last month, the district filed to dismiss Werner's suit, arguing her injuries fall under workers' compensation. The gun used in the shooting was legally purchased by Taylor. She says it.
Could you imagine getting shot at your school and they say, this is a workers' comp situation? Oh, this is just trash all the way around. Oh, baby, this is trash. Do you hear me? Ain't no way. That's why don't nobody want to teach now. Oh.
As it was kept locked away. Her attorney would not say how the 6-year-old got it.
How did your son access the gun?
Nobody knows.
No one knows. Let me just ask this, and I'll direct it to you, Jimmy. Is it that no one has asked him how he got it, or you're just not ready to reveal how he got it?
We're not ready to discuss that at this point. Yes, people have talked to him about that. And I don't know that any adult knows exactly how he got the gun.
Was the gun locked somewhere? It was locked somewhere.
In April, Taylor was charged with a felony count of child neglect and a misdemeanor count of recklessly leaving a firearm as to endanger a child. Her trial is set for August.
Do you feel in any way responsible for the shooting?
Yes, of course. That is my son. So I am, as a parent, obviously willing to take responsibility for him because he can't take responsibility for himself.
Anything that either of you would like to say to Abigail Werner?
I just truly would like to apologize that, out of the incident, she did get hurt. We were actually kind of forming like a relationship with me having to be in the classroom. And she was a really bright person.
Deja faces up to 6 years in prison. She says she doesn't think that that's a fair punishment, but added, quote, anything for my baby. Her lawyer says that they're hoping to work out a plea deal. As for her son, they say that he's thriving and getting the treatment that he needs. They say, interestingly, he doesn't talk about the incident at all, that he talks more often about the days leading up to it.
Interesting. Fascinating. All right, Lindsay, thank you so much.
Okay, so all right. Where do we start? Okay. I totally understand her bringing up the alleged or acute disability is actually how she put acute. But we don't have access to that. So is she just saying this to set up her legal defense or not? She's saying that he had acute ADHD. He was diagnosed with acute ADHD. This is nothing more than her legal defense, because I don't care what you're diagnosed with. If you're consistently placing the staff and the students of a learning institution or of anywhere really at risk between yourself and the facility, right? The school, they have a responsibility to remove you. And I feel like that's where the school falls negligent in this. Do I feel like it's all the school's fault? No. Do I feel like it's all the mom's fault? No. I feel like they need to share the blame. Although I do feel like it's like a 60-40 thing, maybe even a 70-30 thing. However, there were so many, he doesn't talk about the incident. He just talks about the days leading up to when he broke the teacher's phone. Nobody snatches a phone or takes a phone and shatters it to the ground accidentally. And he was suspended, right? Not to mention the long track record of behavioral issues that he's had at that school. And they've been very well documented. And I mean very well documented. He would take his belt off and chase the different students around the classroom trying to beat them. He brought the weapon to the school that day and brought it outside to the playground and threatened one of the students that he was going to use it. He had choked the teacher one time until the teacher couldn't breathe. He had barricaded his teacher and the entire classroom into the classroom. They couldn't get out. The teacher had to, using a chair or whatever, the teacher had to bang on the door so loud and yell and scream until a surrounding teacher or classroom saw that she needed help and came to let her out. There were so many different, his behavior was so bad that they required that one of his two parents come to the school and sit with him every single day throughout every single classroom, not just first period or last period. They had to be present. If you have to take off work or not work and sit with your child all day throughout school, you might as well homeschool. That's how bad his behavior was, is they didn't trust this child in the school enough to be present without his parents. And the week he got bucked and shattered the phone and fired the shot was the first week, first couple days after the parents were no longer required to come up to the school. One of the two parents or guardians were required to come up to the school and sit with him every day. I feel like it was the school's job to expel him. He was a danger, a physical danger to the students and the teachers. He's shattering phones. He's beating students with belts. He's choking teachers out until they can't breathe. A 6-year-old. A 6-year-old. There were often times where this teacher would ask for help. This teacher would ask for help several times from the principal and so on. And the principal would kind of brush it off, all the way down to the fact that they had gotten information from, a couple of students that saw the weapon at the playground, that there was a gun in the building. They dismissed that claim and said, well, we searched his person. They searched him. They searched his locker. They searched his backpack, and they didn't see anything. So they went on about their business. They were continuously dismissing threats and not taking threats to the safety of their students and their faculty and staff seriously. And I feel like they had a role to expel him, to force the mom into homeschooling him, although she should have known that she needed to homeschool him. If she spent weeks coming up to the school, spending the entire school day there because he wasn't allowed to be present without her, that says a lot. And if I'm working somewhere and there's constantly a threat and I'm constantly alerting my higher ups and my superiors, letting them know, hey, there's a threat. Hey, I'm feeling threatened. Hey, my property's getting damaged, AKA my phone's getting shattered. They suspended that boy for breaking the teacher's phone. They suspended him for one day. He came back the next day and shot the teacher. He's upset that he was disciplined, because he felt like he should have been able to destroy that property. He felt ignored by the teacher, so he shattered her phone. It's clear that he wants everything to be, and he's a child, so it's really not his fault. It's the parents' fault for not conditioning him better. She's facing up to 6 years. She's facing up to 6 years. I don't want to be rude and nasty and say I hope she serves this, that, and the third, but whether she serves some time or whether she has to pay some of this money with this $40 million lawsuit, is the teacher going to get $40 million? No. But you got to shoot for the stars in order to get something that's decent. You can't just sue for exactly what you want, because they're going to, they're going to cut that amount. She's going to end up paying for this in one way or another, whether it's time served or whether it's her pockets being consistently negatively affected. This parent should have known better. She don't know how he got the gun. How did your child even know that you had a weapon like that? How to access it, how to take the safety off, and how to successfully fire and shoot. What are his at-home influences that he's so good at that? What are his influences that he's so good at that? Is he playing like Grand Theft Auto every day? And that's why you have to distinguish the difference between video games and reality. And you got to keep Grand Theft Auto. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I had it on my PlayStation when I was a teenager, but I knew the difference between shooting somebody, carjacking somebody, and beating up a prostitute on Grand Theft Auto on that game, and the difference between real life when I was playing it, when I was 15 years old. I knew the difference. 6 years old, they might not. So what are his real influences that he really understood this entire process? And he only fired one shot, and it was successful as hell. It penetrated her in 2 different places. Something's not right with whatever is going on at home, that he even was knowledgeable enough to know how to pull this off. Something's not right. I don't know if it was video games, real life. I don't know what it was that contributed. I'm just saying, in the event that a kid gets a hold of a quote unquote, let's just say digital weapon, which would be something like a Grand Theft Auto or whatever, you know, they might not understand. I can't do this in real. I don't know. I'm just being hypothetical about how a child will go about attaining that much knowledge about firearms. How? It's strange. It's strange. Hey, Tanya, where's the father? That's a good question. I did see a male figure sitting there in the Good Morning America interview. It's unclear if was he an uncle? Was he the dad? I'm not sure. He did look a little like older, but you know, sometimes that be happening. It's unsure. We're unsure. And if somebody taught him how to use it, baby, they definitely need to burn in the pits of hell. I'm not trying to be rude, but it's like parents like her that frustrates the hell out of law enforcement. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. She's minimizing his behavior. Usually parents like her don't want anyone saying anything to their child. Speak on it. Speak on it. That was his grandpa. Oh, that's right, because the grandpa has custody now. Now that you're right. That's right. I was like, he did seem a little older. He did seem a little older, but they did explain his current guardianship status. Yeah, I feel like the school and the household have something to do, but I do feel like the household has more responsibility to take than the school does. Oh, I had an echo at one point. See, I don't be seeing all of my. It was echoing. Okay, that's my bad. It's too late now. Apparently, it was echoing. That's crazy. I'm still trying to figure out my new setup, y'all. So forgive me if y'all heard an echo or two. Because I'm still trying to figure out what the hell I got going on with this new setup, which I do love, but this is a crazy situation. What are y'all thoughts? I've shared all of my thoughts, all of the knowledge that I have pertaining to this situation. And I am curious to know what you think about it, whether you're in the chat right now, I pass the question off to you, or you're catching the replay on the bus. I want to know what you all think about this situation. Hold on. Overall, it's the household. Who is the family going to call when the little boy starts targeting them and whooping on them? Good question. From his demeanor in the interview, he don't need custody either, child. It is going to be interesting if or when he starts targeting them. Who they going to call then? Whose fault is it going to be then? I understand them setting up their legal defense, though. I mean, you can't just sit there and say, it's all my fault. And I mean, she did take some accountability, I think, because she just don't want them to put her child in some type of premature juvie. I understand the legal process of strategically defending yourself, but even when she said, "I take responsibility for my child," I'm like, "Ooh, that wasn't the right thing to say." Should she take responsibility for her child? Yes, but as far as her defense is concerned, if she's trying to lessen or condense her sentence, didn't seem like a smart thing to say. And also her lawyer didn't seem too sturdy on sticking to what it was he initially said. He said, "We're not ready to speak about how he accessed the weapon." The journalist asks, "You're not ready, or you just don't want to share?" He's like, "Okay, well, we don't want to share it because we've been at," and it's like, you're kind of going back. Or if you're not ready to share, then what you said about not being ready to share and asking the questions about trying to get the answers out of him, you shouldn't have shared that either. Her attorney doesn't seem too bright. He does come off as experienced because he's old as hell, but he doesn't come off as too bright. It comes off like he needs a little bit of help with public relations. That's what it comes off as to me. That's that. I apologize for the echo. I feel so bad about the echo right now because I was getting messages about the echo that I didn't see at the time, apparently, with my when the stuff was echoing. So I do apologize to y'all. I'm trying, child. I got a whole new device here. So if there was an echo that you had to deal with, I do apologize. I'm so sorry, you guys. I care about y'all, and I care about the quality in which the content in which you listen to. You shouldn't have to listen to garbage or trash. And I do feel like I provide something that's close to top tier programming. All right. Nonetheless, it's been 3 hours. It has been 3 hours. And while I did actually have some other stuff to share with y'all, the extra long shows that are like well over, 3 hours long, or whatever the case is, I just can't do that anymore. I want to make my videos more digestible for you all. So I want to shorten them so that you can see more of me. When I do extra long videos, you see less of me because I feel like, well, that was a long video, and then my energy, whatever. It's a household. So yeah, we're gonna have to wrap it up. We are going to, I believe she could be taking the responsibility because it'd be a whole lot more. Yeah. He's, at the end of the day, down in Virginia, when you're under 7 years old, you're technically not, and he was 6, you're not old enough to, quote unquote, establish criminal intent. So I think that's the reason why they're not. Yes, I touched on Jamie Foxx already. I think that was actually the very first topic I touched on. So yeah, I did touch on Jamie Foxx already, Sunday Dollar. He's technically not old enough to establish criminal intent. However, it's a sticky situation. There's nothing black and white or cut and dry about this. Nothing. So, I mean, receiving backlash is not easy. Responding to backlash is not easy, no matter what kind of backlash it is. So I can understand her being a little jumbled around. But I also know that she's totally responsible for a great amount of the fault in this situation. For sure. I've responded to backlash at least 3 times in my media career. And it's not easy. It's annoying. But it was never nobody much out. Leo ain't never been out here shooting nobody. Okay. So I ain't never had to respond, but responding to backlash is hard. So, I mean, how is Jaguar? Is she locked up? Yes, Jaguar is locked up down in Texas. She's locked up down in Texas. And She was in Louisiana initially because that's where she was arrested. And I think what the majority of us learned when she was first booked, Jaguar Wright, or should I say Alley Cat wrong, I posted her mugshot backstage for the channel members to see. What a lot of us learned was you can refuse extradition. Like you can refuse to be extradited. So she's arrested in Louisiana, but her warrant was in Texas or LA, one of the two. And she refused to be extradited. And she's finally been extradited. She still has those braids, and we've seen her mugshot. Look like she slimmed down a little bit. And that's mainly what we know. Matter of fact, I'll show you her mugshot real quick. I'll show you her mugshot really quickly. Here it is. This is her current mugshot. Jaguar Wright. Worried about arguing with everybody online, telling any and everybody that they need to stop talking about her. They don't have the right to have commentary on the life that, on her life that in which she puts out in public. This is her most current mugshot. Them braids are holding on to a prayer. All right. But it does look like she lost a little bit of weight. I got half the nerve to call down to the damn gym and be like, girl, what's your weight loss secrets? Is it stress? What is it? Is you only eating once every 2 or 3 days? Like, what is really going on? But yes, this is Jaguar Wright's mugshot. I know some people think it's pink eyes. Some people think she got popped in the eye. I don't know. Her bail is $21,500. Okay, she's got two charges. She's eligible for bond, but the amount is $500. Do you think anybody is going to bail her out? That's the question. They said she wants soda breaks with it. I did see that there is a content creator who is trying to set up a free Jag fund, a free Jaguar Wright fund. So who knows? She is a bit of a YouTube sensation, only because she's problematic, not because she's like, ooh, talented. Like, here's what she's a train wreck, and people love looking at train wrecks. So honestly, I don't doubt that maybe there might be a successful relief fund or effort to get her out. Honestly, she's a cash grab for a lot of people who feel like the only content they can create is about or surrounding her. So, now her only weighing 140 is a lie, baby. She be telling that to the police when she get arrested, but baby, that is a lie. Do you hear what I'm saying? Especially when she was first taken in and she was going on about this thing. Jag does this thing, and look, this is no shade because look, with me being 3 decades old, my weight has fluctuated several times too. And one of the biggest telltale signs is your face. Sometimes it can be your arms too. And your weight will fluctuate. It'll go up and down, up and down, up and down. And there's nothing 140 about Jaguar Wright. And especially in Jaguar she's got an array of different mugshots, and I got them all. But she's not 140. And sometimes people just, if you put that weight on your license back when you got your license, however long ago, you just don't be bothered with updating it. Jag ain't no 140. And she damn sure wasn't 140 when she got taken in. Even with her looking a little slimmer right here, she's still not. This is not a woman that weighs 140 pounds. It's not. Child, lasagna, child. Not 340, y'all out of pocket. Y'all wild. She's definitely not 140 at all. I'm 5'6", 155, 6'8". That's what it's giving to me. My weight, and I'm 5'5" 3/4. I'm not quite 5'6", but I won't commit to 5'5" because I'm more than 5'5" and a half. But I'm like 182. And I got me a little second chin. I only got 2 chins, not 3, just 2. And I'm 182. So, and there have been times my face has looked a lot slimmer, and I've still just been like 165. Like my face looked skinny. People didn't start asking questions about why I quote unquote look so different until I got to like the 170, 80s. So even just a slim face alone with a regular normal body build doesn't mean that you down. The weight that I had on my license or my permit when I first got my permit or ID was 136. That was my high school weight. My height ain't moved much, but the 130. Stop it. Stop. Right now. You stop it. Some people feel like she look at peace. Some people feel like, you know, she looked like she's at peace, and I wonder if she's gonna get. A lot of people wonder why she hasn't had to cut her hair out. They're like, oh, you had to cut your braids out. Why she ain't had to? Clearly, she's making her own rules back there. And according to what these people are saying, we saw her in that bikini. It's definitely not 140. According to what people saying, she done did a couple of jail phone calls that I haven't had the chance to listen to yet. And they're saying she's still up to her same old mess. She's talking her same in the same reckless, unhinged way as she was talking before she went in there. So it's really no way to tell. Jaguar writing her narrative and Jaguar writing her narrative in general, it can be a little draining. It can be a little draining. It is a storyline in the saga of its own, but it can be a little draining. And that's why I just kind of decided, like, look, I don't mind talking about her every now and then, but I totally have to focus on other stories and other people and things and events and topics and celebrities and stuff going on in the real world, because like just focusing on her all day. And she's such a busybody and a crazy bed bug. She's just always doing something, moving around, causing some problems. And covering it can be really lucrative, but ultimately at the end of it, when you feel drained and whatever, it's just like, I can't fill on my days and nights with talking about her all day and night. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Even with her being in jail, I'm like, I can't do it. So it's not a matter of her saying thePLAINESTjane, stop talking about me, or I'm going to take your channel down. Girl, you don't scare no fucking body. You can't stop nobody from having no commentary about you when you exploit and put your whole life on the line and you share it on purpose because you're hoping that everybody that sees it has good things to say about it or receives it in a way in which defends you. No, you can't do that. So you're not scaring me into not talking about you. However, I've found that it's not conducive to my life and my mental health to talk about you every day, even though there's a lot. I made more money talking about Jag than I talk about my regular shit. I made so much more money, but it's not about the money for me being on this channel. I created this channel to talk about things, and because it's an outlet to talk about things that naturally interest me. So I've given up money not talking about her as much, even with her in jail. That's how you know she ain't intimidate me for shit. It's just, I can't do that every day. She's an energy vampire. She really is. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's not worth it. So, I had to move on to other subject matter, child. I'm right. I'm still gonna make money either way. It's just I can't lie and act like the money didn't, double up a bit. I mean, it was these people are really invested in the train wreck that is her life, but that just can't be where I stay. I just it's not worth the money to me. It's not worth the money. And I've left several jobs where I made more money to make less money because it better soothed my mental health to be somewhere else. I'm always going to make that decision at the end of the day. Always, every time. When I tell y'all mental health is wealth and to protect your mental, I'm not just preaching some that I don't live or accept myself. Like, I literally live by that. Your mental health is more important than anything. An energy black hole, nothing positive or sensical can escape. Yeah. That's the truth. Ciao. But this is Yamanjalo update. That's about as much as I got as far as an update, or at least as much as I'm willing to say. But that's the majority of the vital information pertaining to Jaguar, Wright. I really don't care. She's in jail. And I really don't care. I really don't care. I love you all so much. I did have some Black history to give you all, but I can hold on to that until the next show. And I had a couple of other topics, but I can also hold on to those things until the next show. Yeah, I am up late. That's why I'm going to get right on up off here because I got to go to work in the morning. And listen, everybody, mental health is wealth. Okay? Mental health is wealth. I love you all so much. Let me know your thoughts on today's show. We talked about so many different topics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different topics. We did really good. I aim to do a bit better the next show and even the one after that, to be completely honest with you. Thank you all so much for kicking it with me. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. If you haven't already and you made it to the end and you're still watching and I kept your attention, it's something that you like over here, baby. You might as well go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I know you didn't already hit that thumbs up button because, baby, if not, where's Tyra?
But you're not. Stop it! I have never in my life yelled at a girl like this. When my mother yells at this, it's because she loves me. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? Learn something from this. You go to bed at night, you lay there, and you take responsibility for yourself.
Do I see is this Samantha edits video in the chat? Somebody said, happy birthday, Samantha. What? Happy birthday, Samantha? Okay, period. Technically, over here in Baltimore, your birthday is not tomorrow. It is today. Happy birthday to... Not me singing the Stevie Wonder version. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, and thank you so much for supporting the channel and doing all that you do for the channel. Thank you to the person that actually takes time also, whoever you are, who takes time to put some timestamps down below. Shout out to you too. But no, happy birthday to Samantha. Everybody, can y'all please wish Samantha a happy birthday in the chat, please? Can you please wish her a happy birthday? She deserves it. There is a lot going on. There is a lot that she is persevering through in her life right now. Okay, so y'all need to say happy birthday. I'm not at liberty to share. That's her business. But y'all need to wish her, my girl, a happy birthday. Periods. Wish her a happy birthday, because I couldn't do what she doing right now. It's just, I told her, I said, I get stressed out even thinking about you. Just that sentence itself stresses me out. But nonetheless, happy birthday to her, and thank y'all for wishing her a happy birthday. Okay. So I love you all. Will I see you later today? Will I see you Thursday live? I don't know. I can't say. But I'm happy I got this out the way to get the ball rolling with me making shows with multiple topics all over again. Because it's been a while, and sometimes you gotta get the ball rolling again, which means you might be a little bit rusty. So I'm happy I was able to, don't call it a comeback, to give y'all something. So let's get a little Andrew Caldwell and let's get out of here.
Anyway.
Okay. Listen, be sure to tag me in all of your favorite trending topics on Instagram and on Twitter. Y'all know I'm on Twitter more than I'm on Instagram, though. Just know that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for checking the community tab. Thank you for subscribing to my backup channel. Also, before we go, to keep it a stack with you, to all of my makeup girlies, y'all definitely need to check out Deeper Than Skin Deep's channel, okay? I just placed the link in the chat, okay? Definitely check out her channel, okay? Reviews on mostly high-end makeup, the sales at Ulta and Sephora. If you're a makeup girly, and I mean, like, I am a makeup girly. That's how I started my channel, but I switched to commentary. But I'm still a makeup girly at heart. I ain't gonna hold you. And sometimes you want to know how a high-end product, how it holds up, other people's opinions of it, true wear and tear, you know. You want to know that from a real person. Commercials are not believable. You want to know that from a real person before you spend your hard-earned money on it, or before you talk your spouse, your significant other, or your partner to spend money on it for you. So if you want nice, legit makeup reviews, honest makeup and skincare reviews too, make sure you check out Deeper Than Skin Deep. I just placed the link down below in the description box. I do truly enjoy her channel. Just make sure once you go over there and subscribe, find the quickest comment section you can find over there. Any comment, click on any video, any community tab, any whatever, and drop some pancakes so that she knows who sent you. But she's really good at reviewing that high-end makeup, and she be real in the field. I stick to my same several products that I use. So I'm not buying new makeup often, but she is. She be trying all of the new stuff. And she can tell you when you can find really good sales and deals at Sephora and Ulta and all of the other high-end stuff. So I definitely recommend you check out Deeper Than Skin Deep. I do enjoy her channel for real. So show her some love. Go over there, subscribe, and engage with her channel. She's going to help you out, whether you're new to makeup and even if you are really experienced to makeup. As you can, you know, I got a little makeup on, so I love makeup or whatever, but that don't mean that every now and then I want to try a new product and I ain't over there just watching. And sometimes just watching somebody's get ready with me process, you'll see a video titled GRWM. That just means get ready with me. Seeing how other people apply their makeup, it could influence you to tweak the way that you apply your makeup, you know. So there's so many different perks to watching makeup videos. But look, if you already know about makeup, you know. But check out Deeper Than Skin Deep for sure. Okay. Rabbit hair? Okay. I love her rabbit. She got a rabbit? Now, I ain't never seen a rabbit. I like her nails, though. Her nails be... I wish y'all could have spent some time with Leo today, but y'all, he been somewhere asleep. Leo been somewhere asleep. So I don't know where he at and what he got going on. I'll show y'all him tomorrow. Nonetheless, I'm just sleepy and rambling. Let me go ahead and get up off of here. I love you all so much. Y'all know I do. And y'all know I have such a hard time saying goodbye. But I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Y'all stay beautiful, black, and blessed. Y'all have an amazing, positive, and prosperous day tomorrow or today, depending on your time zone, which is Thursday. And I'm going to catch you in the next video, which will definitely be before the end of the week. Okay? I love you so much. Deuces.
But that's it. If you want to catch more of my commentary on Black culture or vital and trending information, be sure to subscribe by hitting that little circle in the middle of the screen, or I'll catch you in one of these rectangles to the right in another video. I'll see you there.